If you haven't played Crosscode, you should. It's really good.
Sorry, this is my fault. All right, we're good.
from two folks who are actually playing with us for the first time ever. Please give it up for Eli Bishop on the violin over there.
Let's go. Don't let me, I must not forget turning on your voice too. It's okay. Hello everybody and welcome to our Project Terra Gamedev stream. I'm Felix aka Luxen. I will do the game development, and with me in the voice chat today are Henne aka Geflügel, Stefan aka Regidan, and Flora aka Tiflora.
Hello, hello,
Hi.
hello, hello, hello.
And also we have
hello.
our music bot here who will now do the hi and not play some VTuber shit. And then we here we go.
You said music bot, not soundboard. That was our soundboard actually.
Yeah, it was our soundboard, sorry. And then we have our music bot, not the cutting edge version, because that one seems to be broken because it's cutting edge.
By the way, I want to test something real quick.
Hmm.
What was this sound? Ah,
That was Kirby.
yeah. Kirby suck. What would I expected? But that's nice.
Is that the suck sound or what?
Yeah, it's just called Kirby suck.
Okay, well, I mean, what did you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Kirby
I mean,
sucking.
it's less confusing than the sound called Forged Hit, but that's actually you might remember. It's actually
Forget it.
It's actually Forget It, not Forged Hit. Well, that's confusing.
Ah.
Yeah, and someone's Chacha Senri says, "Is that record time?" Until mentioning VTubers. Well, that's Felix. You can always think of it.
No. Alright. You purposefully placed this.
No, that's not true.
Actually, it's you who started.
Oh look, Frequentaria is offering us great Doge hype shit that I will just.
Oh shit! Can you? Alright. My dog. Like,
Yes. Okay,
just why you ban him, man? I wanted to engage with this totally real person.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That was very real person. Okay. I was very confused. Every day I feel too old for the internet.
Yeah,
feel more too old. So okay.
That even happens to me at times.
So let me start reading a few things in our chat history for, in particular, people who subscribed, like EL2022, who mentioned that this was a very good remix that we played in the beginning, and I just wanted to give a little shout out for this. This was actually the Raid remix by Disco.
Yes.
Cactus that suddenly showed up in the beginning this year, I think, which really caught all of us by surprise. We didn't know anything about that, and I immediately regretted not being there. I mean, that was really impressive. So we'll post the link again. That sound is a very, very cool remix and a live performance of some piece of music of Crosscode. So. And then we got another subscription by Flora saying, half a century, we are getting old. 50 months. Half a century or in month, yes. So that's a 12th of a century, I guess. Yes, thanks a lot, Flora, for all the money that you give back to the company. Thank you.
A lot.
And then we have a couple first time chat people, and Anton Coraza saying keep up the good work, thank you. And yeah, if anybody has any question to ask, the best chance of getting that question answered is by writing at Radical Fish Games in the chat. That increases the likelihood of us spotting the question, but there's still no guarantee, so please feel free to repeat your question until we spot it. Just as a heads up, we tend to miss questions, unfortunately. But otherwise, we will try to react to whatever you ask, obviously. So, and as for today's game dev stream, I wanted to work on a new enemy, which probably won't take that much time. I mean, I often say that, and then it does take a lot longer anyway, so I'm often wrong in that regard, but this one is really simple. It's just essentially a reskin of a previous enemy with some parameters changed. So I don't expect this to take the whole stream, and then I will keep working on something else, which is a new way to get HP healed. Just working on the technical side, and then later maybe trying to do some graphics too. So that's the plan for today.
Oh, Anton Corazza. Yeah, didn't realize it's you. Hi.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
The one with the electric. What it's called? Not a ball.
I think I
Like
remember
an electric
something.
saxophone, and he's playing a lot of really cool music.
You mean the one with the funny mouth?
Funny
No,
mouth.
wait. Electric saxophone? Is it this funny mouth thing? No, right?
Ooh, nice.
No, it's not.
Thanks
It's
for the
not.
cover.
Ah, right. Now I know what you mean. Yeah. I think I've...
Are bridges a new thing, or did I just never see them? I think they're pretty new. We had this idea of doing a new blog post and actually showcasing more of the recent stuff we developed. I think we still didn't get around to that point. Maybe still in January, we will see. We do have broken bridges. There's also proper bridges. But those are not integrated yet. I guess that is, yeah. That's SimCity.
Man, that's such a nostalgic game.
Immediately nostalgic. Yeah, that's neat. Yeah, we have broken bridges. There will also be fully intact bridges later. And there's actually a lot of stuff to show, really, because the last stream is again a month ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I can show like the fancy new weapons web menu. That's something I can show.
I allowed.
Let me see. Okay, so look, this is now a way to swap weapons. This is right now you have 4 elements here, each with a weapon. So that's usually not like we don't only have 4 weapons right now, so you see a lot of repetition here. There will be more weapons later on. But yeah, you can switch them. And you have them also switched in the game. Let me go back again. Sword and crossbow.
Yeah, and then
So-
thanks for the nice
That all works.
cover. Really loved seeing that.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the amazing cover, obviously. It was really a nice surprise to see that.
Right back at you.
So that is a new thing we developed.
Hey, didn't show it in menu.
Yes, there's a menu too. We can go here, and there will be a way to do equipment, but you can also go to the quick swap, which is a very addicting transition. And then you can swap the weapons here as well. So that's another thing you can do. So yeah, really working on the basics still, getting all the basic systems done, but we're making progress each day, or at least each week, let's say like this. What did I work on? I think I worked on puzzle stuff, a lot of smaller things. I probably can show off the power orb, and to be fair, that's not only me, that's also something that Henne worked on.
Indeed. Yeah.
And I just added proper graphics and tweaked a few things. But that is one of the more interesting puzzle mechanics of Projectile. So you already get an impression of what puzzles might look like, and you know, it's quite similar to what you have in Crosscode, really. Only
Felix,
this time.
Does it mean we will also get to push boxes?
Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe I can show you something new, which is this here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that didn't work. That sucks. So because there was a collision. Here we go. That's better.
What's the command again to cue a song?
Play. It's /play, and then you can.
I think it's
make
play, and then you have to say next or something.
You have first you have to put in the song, and then you have an optional entry that says like priority or
Priority.
something.
You have to write the link
true.
and then space priority, and then it's at the top. Yeah.
I think you have to actually have priority, and then you have to write true in it.
Really?
I think that's
wow.
how it worked.
Oh my god.
I think that's how it worked. I mean, it's been a few weeks, but by the way, there has been like a
true.
There has been a message at Teflora, GG on Duelyst, by the way. I enjoyed that.
YouTube isn't supported anymore.
Yeah, YouTube isn't supported.
Yeah.
That has been the case for like two or 3 months or something, sadly.
Okay, Stizzleist asks, how much higher can you shoot with the crossbow? 1 level up or even higher if you stand farther away? It's actually really physics based. It's like the question, can you shoot it if the projectile goes in a straight way? And the further away you are, the higher you can shoot. Because of that. And if the object is very high, you can shoot it easier. If it's very flat on the ground, it's difficult to shoot from below. So it's it's really like, how would the projectile fly? That's really the relevant thing here.
Can we get much higher?
Oh, this is again not work. Yeah, no, it worked. Yeah, I need to tweak this more. But yeah.
Deafness. Yeah, this is WebGL.
Wait,
This is WebGL, that's right.
we
Vicious error. Okay.
I think you made the other fretboard
you
join.
just added fretboard cutting edge.
Oh yeah, you have
Need
to
to
make
make
sure
difference.
you have to select the
Damn it.
blue stuff. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna make it leave. Go away.
Go away.
Yeah, I know it's confusing, but the
Yeah.
red one usually is better, but it's not working today, so that's why I had to use the normal one.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really annoying, and I mean, the worst part is still that even if you go to the web interface, you can't preview the songs that you want to add.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
that's
back.
annoying.
He's back. Cutting Edge is back.
Flora,
Huh? I used semicolon play this time.
no, you have to make slash,
slash.
and then you have to
Yes.
select
That's
the
what I
right
did
one.
before. Oh, god damn it.
And then you have, when you press
Look,
slash, you get
let
a
me
view
show
of
it in
2 dots.
stream with a huge delay. But when you write it, you can select which one you want to use by pressing up and down, and you have to really click it. And you know, now it's weird,
Oh.
but that's how it works. That's the
this
new
is-
bot interface.
Yeah,
So weird.
it's not very. It's not. they should try something there, but it's not really. Oh, is it
I
good?
mean, I guess if you are
Actually,
not
it makes
used to
sense
command
only have
lines,
one. Yeah, it makes
yeah, I mean,
sense.
I can understand it, but it's a change. You need to get used to it, and it's a
Normally,
little bit.
guys, you don't have the same bot twice in your server.
Oh.
Yeah, that's actually true, but unfortunately we do. So yeah, like a few things. Shooting up definitely changes a lot of things in Projectile. It does make a lot of puzzles that were easy in Crosscode not work anymore, because you can do things you couldn't before, right? But on the other hand, it also makes a lot of things easier, like the puzzle I showed here. This one is just easily doable and interesting because you can shoot up. In Crosscode, in order to do this, you would have to be able to stand at the same height. And then you have to still make sure that you cannot easily jump on the platform too. And that is a lot of stuff you need to consider for crosscode, whereas in Terra we can just have you be on a lower platform and it's fine. That actually makes, I think, a lot of puzzles actually easier to design in Project Terra. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to designing puzzles with the new system here. I think this will be interesting.
Nice.
Did we answer the WebGL question?
I think somebody mentioned that we use cross WebGL. I mean, Stefan did, I think. And yeah, it's WebGL.
I answered
Okay.
that, and he
So I
also
played a song
answered that.
from Anton, and this is one of them. A little... Here's the link as well. Why not?
Okay, so that's something I worked on. I mean, I might as well show the push-pullable blocks. What's the map again? Hannah?
It's I think test Hannah and PP test or something.
PP test. You really like writing PP, right? For the push-pullables.
It's a valid short
Abbreviation.
short
I know, Hannah. I know. You really enjoy the fact that it's a valid abbreviation.
No,
right?
I'm just professional about it.
Yeah,
what are you
very
talking about?
professional. You just keep writing PP in every freaking variable.
It's like, that is a ridiculous assumption, Felix. That's not true.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we would never
Okay.
do any juvenile humor. By the way, these boxes are not 32 pixels high.
No,
I know,
the
I know.
graphics are placeholders. They're not.
The
They
graphics
don't
are
make
placeholders.
sense yet. Those
Also,
are just a
Felix.
crosscode. Yeah.
Does Reggie get
Felix.
jealous that the stream doesn't get as many viewers as Lexon? No.
Push
I don't mind that.
push the wooden
Huh?
block into the water, Felix. Push the wooden block into the water.
Should I?
Yes, you should. Maybe I
It's all like in the favor of.
Oh my gosh,
Alright.
Hannah! What did you do?
That's not even that took me
Wasn't
like
hard.
No,
Yeah.
it really wasn't hard. You can kind of guess how it works. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I-
actually,
it's
that
not-
works surprisingly well.
yeah, I was.
Cool. That's
There's
awesome.
Yes, and now how you move it?
Now you can't move it anymore, and you're like stuck with it. But I mean,
Yeah,
you can
obviously.
if you add a reset option somehow. It might be
Yeah,
a good
of course.
Cool puzzle.
No,
mechanic.
I mean, a bigger problem rather would be that right now you can't push other blocks properly on it. I mean, you can, but you
Oh.
can't push them further. That's not working right now. But
Okay, that should work though. I mean, it does
yeah,
work.
no,
Oh, but you can't push them beyond. Oh,
yeah, that's a weird thing.
okay.
But yeah,
You probably can fix that somehow. There should be a way to fix that.
yeah. It's I just wanted to try how it works, and then
And now wait until we have water currents.
Oh boy.
Good luck
course.
with that.
I mean,
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard because each tile stores the direction in which the water moves, and in the end, so you can query that.
Yeah, I guess.
And it's
Yeah.
like-
that should
And
be
you
possible.
just need to keep a running index of where the box is in, and sort of summarize that value probably because it's in multiple.
Kovac
tiles
asks, can you
at the same
push
time.
another block on it? And then quickest answer question in an RFG
Yeah.
stream. That's correct.
true.
We now developed this new system called how do you say
It's basically the minority report.
mind
but
reading question
Mind
trick.
reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the question mark Kovac put there is exactly our answer.
Yeah.
Question?
Right.
Hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
yeah, basically it's just another attribute of the prefab that you can say that it either floats or that it respawns or sinks or swims. when you-
Oroch1x asks, I hope the game will have difficult puzzles like Crosscode did. I mean, that's a little bit tricky for me to guarantee because if you look at the top 1 list with most complaints about Crosscode is difficult puzzles or at least too many puzzles
Puzzles.
was one of them. So I'm a
I
little
mean,
bit...
no. I don't think too many puzzles. I think too long dungeons.
Yeah, I mean, that
specify
means
that.
too many puzzles at once.
No. You could put the puzzles somewhere else, not in the dungeons.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
it would be fine because it's optional content.
Mm.
And
However-
the problem is that it's mandatory content.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true. But but people still complained about the abundance of jumping puzzles in the wilderness.
That
at
too.
times.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was less common. I think most people complained
way
about
less
too many
common.
dungeon puzzles, not too many about the jumping
Yeah, like
puzzles.
people didn't mind the like outside area puzzles.
But
I
yeah,
think.
like the idea is we will have challenging puzzles, but we might move them to more optional content. So that's at least the design idea now that we have. We have to see how good we will be at fulfilling that.
We have a new description from Arkmana saying, I'm super excited for this. I hope you guys are doing well. Also, I'm a papa now. Congrats.
Oh, nice.
Wow! Congratulations!
Just spawned a new NPC into this world.
Wow!
It's mean. It's his child will obviously be a protagonist.
Yeah, the main
Yeah,
character.
yeah. Time puzzles are especially something we will be careful about, and that's also why. Actually, I wanted to show that and I forgot. Let me go back to the last.
You forgot.
I forgot. Is that a new thing? I saw this a few times. People saying
Gore
forgot.
has been a thing since at least last year, but I've only
Okay.
I've only learned about it because of a VTuber, but it was apparently already a thing before that. I have no idea where it
So
comes from.
about timing, for instance, this
Before.
puzzle element actually does not have a timing anymore. You can actually take your sweet time thinking about how to shoot it. The only after the third shot will it disappear after a certain time, and that one is really not really timing. It's more like after 3 shots it's gone.
And we
So-
can make this more visual to when our artist goes over it. We can like add cracks.
Well, if you want to do the animation 3 times over, yes, we can do cracks.
No, you can make the animation and then just have cracks appearing. You just need to have the cracks be animated with the rolling, I think.
Yeah, so you have to repeat the animations 3 times. I mean, with each
No.
crack state.
Yeah, but you can overlay that to the...
But the cracks need to move with the thing, right? So
Yes.
that's meaning you have to
I'll show
redo. Okay. Anyway, I'm actually more of a fan of blinking or using effects, stuff like that.
Yeah, blinking crack effect.
Okay. Anyway, well, what might happen actually is that you shoot the thing somewhere where it's difficult to reach. Like you can hand somewhere you actually cannot shoot it. I mean, you can still shoot it here, but imagine you can't. This is still a bug I need to fix. Bouncing arrows.
Yeah.
So that's why I added this reset switch here. Or rather, Henne added it, and I changed it a little bit again. When you shoot it, you can reset puzzle elements. We used a similar thing in the DLC dungeon of Crosscode, where we had those Pharaoh puzzle elements and you had something to reset the position. And I want to make this a more common thing that we can use more often with any kind of puzzle element in Terra. Because I think that's an easy fix to remove the timing, but also avoid soft locking. Because the truth is a lot of times we use timing to avoid soft locks. And that's also why you don't want the timing to be too generous, because that means you have to wait longer to get out of the soft lock. And that's why having a switch like this is a very nice compromise, because it removes the timing and you can reset. You can still reset out of a soft lock. So that's why, yeah. And we will definitely do more of these kind of things with Project Terra to avoid the strict timings. There probably will still be timing puzzles, because it's sometimes just nice to have timings, but we will try to make them more generous, I think. Not like not going quite as overboard as we did with Crosscode.
Important information, Felix.
Yeah.
The Forgore meme was apparently became a thing in February 2021.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty old. I didn't notice.
Yeah, again, I only heard about it like last year or something.
I mean, it's just a typo essentially. I mean, it's just right. I
It's
forgot.
just a
and then
cute
it's,
typo. Yeah,
yeah, great. Yeah,
it's very
I guess
kawaii.
I guess that's enough for a meme these days. So.
Argus Dev asks, can you give a quick explanation of the physics on the game? don't want to take a lot of your time. I would love to try something like this someday. And I think most physics are boxes, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can show a little bit. We do have the tile physics, and tiles are always rectangular except when they're triangles. So we do have triangular tile collisions, but it's really just full tiles and triangles. And then we have entities, and they have collision boxes, and I can show them here. Oh, this is the meme song. Anyway. Yeah, those are also rectangles. So it's all rectangles and triangles. Yeah, those are also triangles on the ground. So those also work. And
they're axis aligned.
Yeah, they're always axis aligned. You cannot rotate boxes. So we have pretty simple shapes as a basis. And everything is just abstracted using sometimes multiple triangles, rectangles and triangles. But it's... yeah, there's no circles and there's no rotated boxes. There's always axis aligned. And yeah, physics are hard to summarize, but the rough idea is it does calculate Z and XY movement separately, but it does calculate XY movement pretty precisely in that, well, it doesn't first go in the X dimension, then in the Y dimension, but it actually does so at the same time, really trying to solve line intersections with plane intersections, something like this, to really get the precise intercollision point. We did this already in Crosscode to have precise ricochet mechanics. We just copied the thing for Terra, more or less. Otherwise... yeah, it's all the other stuff. We did have a blog post about some physics things in Crosscode. Maybe I can find this. Because it does explain a little bit how we do acceleration, which is not really grounded in realism. It's just something we came up that felt good. It's here, you can read more about it here. So that might be interesting. And yeah, it's hard to really explain otherwise what defines our physics. It's just they do work, and that's really the most important thing. There's a lot of stuff like sliding, which is always important. There's also things where you can slide around entities, like you can see here. You might actually notice how the boxes are overlapping here. That's actually a new feature for the Terra physics. We kind of said that certain collision types actually allow for a certain overlap, because it often feels better to have actors be able to move a bit closer than they usually would move towards a wall, because you don't want to make sure they don't move too close to a wall, because otherwise they would clip into the wall. But when there's another actor, it's usually fine to have to move a bit closer, because then it feels less blocky and everything. So that's why I made this streak here.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I never taught anybody, I think. I just
Wait,
did
you
it.
told me.
I probably taught you, Stefan, yeah, but not really.
It was confidential.
Yeah, I just thought that looks nice.
Just thought it's neat.
Yeah, it's just a lot of small stuff. Yeah, but that's more or less an overview of our physics. Oh man, I could also talk about how multiple entities, like boss enemies, how they are actually working with multiple collision boxes, but you know, that will probably take a bit longer. Yeah, I think I will now start working on the things I wanted to do for today, which was working on a new enemy.
The new anime.
Anime.
By the way,
yeah.
I have a new graphics card now.
Oh.
So I won't be able to really check the game for lower specs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's fine.
We have our.
No,
I mean, we do have
no.
our beta testers now. Some close beta testers, and at least so far, things look pretty
More like
good.
alpha tests, right?
Yeah, alpha testers. Yeah, it was not really better.
I mean, actually, I
no,
could
guys,
probably,
sorry. Don't.
have 2 graphics card in there and switch them around or something. But yeah, that's a lot of work.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually bought a 4070 now. I really upgraded to the newest level, so I can because my old graphics card is 10 years old at this point.
Did you have to buy a better power thing? Because something I learned when I looked about buying new graphics cards is if you go beyond a certain year, you do need a better power. How do you say this?
Yes, but please, like, you never need as much power as the GPU vendor says. That's just under maximum stress.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
GPUs are highly optimized to not completely tank your electric bill, because they have to work on laptops too.
But not the same GPUs, I think.
So PCUs are the like specific is more like, all right, if you like do a 3D Max test, right, and you just want to see how far can you push that, that's probably gonna drain as much. But we actually had a test in my old home where we watched under heavy load how much my entire PC would take, right? And wasn't even close to that, even though I was playing a game at 144 frames per second.
I see.
It's more like it's a recommendation because they know if you don't go this high, then you completely miss that your CPU needs power, your motherboard needs power, you know, everything needs power. So they want to make sure that you don't like short circuit the GPU because you forgot that everything takes a bit.
But yeah, I went up to 750 watt now. That should be enough.
Yeah.
There was actually a comment by Desnut that I would like to answer. I'm wondering, it worth the hassle to port later to consoles? Keep using WebTech. I am in with WebGL 2, although I saw the Robert's demo about to port crosscode and it was a massive work. My worry is that it can delay or get in the way of seeing Project Terra on my PS5. Haha. You know, at some points I also sometimes regret using WebTech, but on the other hand, we kind of like just ran into it. We built a pretty big engine with crosscode that worked surprisingly well overall, and then we just decided we will do that again, but we will use TypeScript instead of JavaScript. And I think that was definitely a very good decision, because that actually makes porting, I believe, a lot more realistic. Because the problem with just using JavaScript is that there's no typing whatsoever. JavaScript is good at guessing the type at runtime, but if you want to convert it to another language, it's very hard. And TypeScript, if you use it with a lot of typing, type annotations, and you avoid any types, then it should be a lot easier to port. So that's why we are hoping it will be easier for Project Terra. But yeah, the thing is, we just wanted to work in a similar way we did before. We didn't want to switch to another engine, because honestly, having your own engine is a pretty awesome situation to be in. Because if you have a good working engine, you don't have to work around the engine, you don't have to be annoyed by engine updates. You just work what you know with, and you can fix engine bugs if you encounter them instead of working around them. Stuff like that. Yeah, that being said, I actually recently had a look at the technology that Robert was using to port crosscode, and if we ever move away from that technology to anything else for whatever reason, I would consider using that instead, because here the idea is you don't use an engine, rather you use a technology that is hopefully nice to work with and easy to port to many systems. And that looks like a good alternative, but particularly he's using Hex, I think it's pronounced, and it looks really surprisingly similar to TypeScript. It's not exactly the same, but just looking at it for a bit, I thought, man, porting to the language doesn't sound that unrealistic. And maybe there was this idea of maybe extending our technology stack in a way that we can more easily convert to maybe a hex-based code base. So the idea is we still develop in TypeScript because it has some very cool advantages. In particular, you can just run everything in Node WebKit in a browser, and you get a lot of great tools to tools and everything. Like tools is one big reason why we use web technologies. Doing tools like this with any other framework, I think, wouldn't be nearly as effective or as fun. But yeah, so if we could work with this technology and then convert it to something like Hex, use it with maybe even use Robert's engine to run it, port it to consoles, or even create PC builds based on that run maybe more stable, right? Because there are some limitations to web technology which are mostly about security that you could easily just turn off if you port to another technology, even on PC. So it might potentially run better on PC as well. So there's this kind of idea that we might consider in the long way, especially if you want to keep working with this technology and we want to get better at porting to consoles. So the idea is, rather than having somebody like Robert doing all the porting for us, maybe we can work with him together to actually integrate this to our technology in a way that we can support the porting or even port parts of the code base on our own and stuff like that. So maybe. But I mostly had those thoughts when I thought that, damn, this game runs really bad on certain systems. We did some tests with MacBooks, and I just learned that MacBooks are just, they suck. And instead, it seems to be running pretty good on most people's systems so far. I don't know. At least, as I said, with our alpha testers, we didn't have a lot of people reporting bad performance, so that's at least good to know.
Also, to Fiddle's argument, actually, just as Felix said, having this port and being able to port this in our build system would mean you don't have the entire web stack running below the game.
Yeah.
This is why I can already say to someone was asking about the Switch version. The Switch version might even run better because it's compiled without the web stack.
Yeah.
There's actually technically a PC crosscode version that's compiled. I never did.
We never really tried a lot if it runs better or worse. I think for crosscode, it potentially runs worse than the WebGL version because essentially anything was untyped in crosscode. Yeah. And Robert was just going through the code, adding types on any performance critical stuff until it ran good enough. At least I think that was the workflow. And whenever he typed things could potentially break too, because sometimes we were not very consistent with using types, stuff like that. So it was very troublesome. So anybody working with web technologies, I would recommend you using TypeScript at least, if you really want to make porting easier. But yeah, like Kartesh is this engine. Yeah, I looked a little bit at it, not really in depth, but but yeah, like, why do consoles not embrace HTML5? Well, because
security, right?
Yeah, it's mostly security concerns, because it would make it too easy to get anything to run on consoles. I think that's the concern. I'm not sure. I think it feels more like an excuse, honestly, a little bit. But it's not mainstream enough for that. You know, not a lot of people, console game developers, use HTML5 tech. So it's a niche for games, and I think it will probably stay a niche. So that's why I wouldn't expect them to become mainstream.
Like, high end of the AAA developers, they want to push like the high end graphics, so they need like technical people that can squeeze out every bit of performance, and you only get that with the hardware closest language.
I mean, to be fair, Nintendo did exactly this for a short time. They actually had this web framework, and they stopped with it, stopped doing this ever since the Switch. So it was just a thing on Wii U. That's why we had this idea of porting crosscode to the Wii U. But actually, this framework was pretty slow. It wasn't really well optimized. So that wouldn't have worked well either. So I don't really think it's realistic to expect that console people will support web tech. I mean, you think it will be a niche even after web GPU becomes the norm? I don't know. Maybe a web GPU will make such a big difference and suddenly it will be more used, then maybe it will change. Also, I think it does run a lot better on Steam Deck, so I think in theory you could have good web tech support on consoles, but it's, yeah. There's just an issue with just-in-time compilation, and I think the Steam Deck is a lot more open than other consoles in that regard. So that's why I think it's not such a big deal.
Someone actually said I recently bought crosscode and I'm really enjoying it so far. Sadly, it's not playable on Steam Deck without workarounds.
Oh,
Once
really?
you get it running, and I thought we had a patch that made it available for Steam Deck.
Yeah, the thing about Steam Deck is we really I probably need to look at to this. I mean, some people said it is playable. The problem is
it wouldn't be playable. It has sticks, it has buttons, right?
I
what
mean,
exactly isn't playable on it?
I think there's a problem that it actually tries using the Windows version, even though there is a native Linux version, which is kind of stupid, so it probably would be better off just using the Linux version. I don't know, there was somebody, you know, the one guy who helps us so much about doing Linux things, with the Cheeseness guy. He wrote me about this. I never got the time to really look into this, though.
Yeah. What is the game engine? It's a custom-built JavaScript/TypeScript.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So you have to do, using the Linux version runs better, so we probably need to change something so it actually does use the Linux version. Yeah, maybe I should really... Somebody have to send me a Steam Deck, then I will probably do it. No, I have to... Probably I should get a Steam Deck myself at some point, just so I can have a better look at it. At least there's a workaround, but yeah. Yeah, to be fair, we really should have a look at this. Probably isn't even much work.
We have the first time chat. Tilt says, I can't wait to see this complete. Loved crosscode so much, so I also have high hopes for this one too. Thanks for putting your faith into us.
Yes.
Thank you.
We will definitely not.
So
Yeah, we will fuck it up.
We fuck it up so bad. Oh, guys.
So Felix,
That
have
will
we
be a
talked
mess.
about our
Yeah.
have we talked about our season pass plans already, and how we wanna?
One map per month.
Yeah, microtransactions.
That's the idea. One map per
Have I
month.
talked about the friendship points idea already?
Yes, we finally make it a reality. We even extended them using NFTs and cryptocurrency and AI generated new characters.
I'm so looking forward to Leia Ape NFT.
Yes.
Luckiest Mage asks, regarding Project Terra, can we expect more funny platforming / timing puzzles? Less timing puzzles, we talked about it before.
Yeah.
If you played the DLC, you can get a good idea on how we tackle puzzle elements in the future.
Yeah.
So you can basically reset them with the switch instead of a timer running out. And more funny platforming, absolutely. I think it will be much better with a perspective.
Yeah,
The-
also like the new
Sprite
jumping
managed.
system, at least the feedback we got so far, it looks like people have less issues falling down by mistake. You know, CrossCode Terra is a system where you don't automatically run down, but for a high cliff you actually stop for a bit. And you need to explicitly dash at an edge to jump. So that's something we implemented. And I think it makes platforming easier to pull off overall. At least that was the goal here.
That's a bit of a if you play a bit of Terra and then you play CrossCode and then you play Terra again, man, that's confusing.
Yeah, it is. Why not WebKit and not Electron? Because we started using Electron, it's actually it's a more straightforward framework to use when you start from the website, from the web side of things instead of the Node.js. We only use Node.js for some API stuff, but otherwise it's just a website, and Node WebKit makes it trivial to just turn a website into an application. Electron is probably easy and similar, but we just decided to go with Node WebKit. I don't know. It's just added. I think it also adds some features that might not be there in Electron. I'm not sure if Electron supports native full screen. Like there's a special full screen mode in Node WebKit. I'm not sure if Electron has the same thing, or if it just uses the normal Chromium stuff. But yeah, in the end it really doesn't matter because both of them just use Chromium. The only difference I think is that Node WebKit modifies Chromium slightly, whereas Electron doesn't. And I think that's about it. I hate web development, but I really should learn it to be more hireable. I guess. I mean, there's probably a lot of other technologies which are high in demand, but...
Yeah, I mean, you don't need that much for backend stuff. Because there you can use many technologies.
Yeah, though a lot of people use Node.js because there's nothing better than finding common ground with your backend developers. That's why PayPal immediately adapted that. They were really, alright, we can have JavaScript on the backend? I better do that. I mean, have you seen a Java backend? It's not pretty.
Yes.
It is full of unnecessarily complex logic and class structures and very businessy code.
I mean, how much Java does still get used? Like aside from legacy systems,
Probably
Java is
more.
definitely still pretty.
Still a lot. Okay.
popular.
Isn't Java actually still used for a lot of Android applications? I think at least in the past, Java was the language for Android.
Yeah, I
apps,
know
right?
that. I'm not. I mean, I can't
I mean,
really.
you don't have to. It's still run on like Unix, right? So you can compile with everything on Android. But yeah, you would do that. But today people use much like TypeScript, a superset of Java, right? Something that compiles to Java, because Java is verbose, to put it mildly, right? It is so much text you have to type to get stuff running. It would be nice if, a different language. What was that one? I think Haskell is running on top of that. Let me fact check that. I don't want to pull a Ben Shapiro on you guys.
Facts and logic.
Facts and logic.
As facts and logic.
We have another question. Will puzzle placement be any different than CrossCode? Maybe more optional? And I think yes.
We mentioned that before. That was pretty much that's the idea. So especially the very hard puzzles.
The name. Yeah.
We also try to pre-plan puzzle elements more before we introduce them in the game, so we can use them at a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Kotlin, which basically, if I look at it, very much looks like JavaScript.
Interesting.
Okay.
Another question. Now that we're talking about tech, do you do something special with the shaders? Your pixel art looks awesome. Is there some secret tweak that can be done in shaders or WebGL options? There are. I think the most impactful is probably how we sample textures, right?
Yeah, there is actually a trick about texture sampling, which is one of the first things I tried with shaders, because I'm not sure if you noticed, but if you just sample a texture and you place it in, you rotate the mesh with the texture, sometimes you see pixels outside the rectangle you're intending to show. And this is often very annoying, so people often fix this by making sure that you don't have adjacent pixels at the border of textures, which can be limiting and annoying if you want to have a clean pixel grid and whatever. So there is a way
to save space. Be honest.
Yes, obviously saving space. But no, I mean it's saving space, but mostly just avoiding the hassle of making sure there's always a gap between things, and it just makes making sheets more difficult. And there will always be situations where you forget it and you see stuff and looks ugly. There's a way to fix this. You just need to provide twice the texture coordinates, depending on how you structure your meshes. If it's traditional meshes where you have a texture coordinate per vertex, you may have to have twice the texture coordinate. So that's a big limitation here. But otherwise it's pretty simple. You can, all you need to do is find a way to calculate the minimum and maximum texture coordinate and just seal whatever texture coordinate gets calculated in the fragment shader. Seal or floor, like keep it inside the range. And if you do that, you don't see any adjacent pixels. It's as simple as that. That was as simple as that.
That's sad.
Yeah. Another thing is probably most textures are projected onto the mesh, basically. Like that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, like we don't really generate all those meshes from hand. We have tools to generate them, and we don't really store meshes explicitly. We have some kind of more limiting structure where we always have a rectangular sprite sheet, a rectangular pixel graphic texture, and we just map this to some 3D shape. And there are not a lot of shapes. I mean, they're getting more and more. The idea is we will just keep adding more graphics as we need them. Let me just open some trees here.
Yeah, so the naive way or the typical way in 3D applications to texture things would be like paper wrap, right? Or gift wrapping. You just wrap it around the model. But ours is more like you have a beamer or projector with a picture on it and point it at the model, at the mesh. And that basically makes sure that the pixel art is not distorted.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, sometimes we have to show things from the side. Is there an example? Houses, for instance. Yeah, like for sidewalls, obviously, here you will always have pixels which are, stretched. But we usually keep those parts with low detail to not, so people don't see too clearly that that this is not a clean pixel model. Like the whole idea is to avoid stretching and scaling of pixels as much as possible, but we still have a 3D perspective, so obviously there'll always be some scaling and some stretching, but it's always, we try to keep it minimal, and that's why the tools just don't allow you to do that. You cannot scale pixels in our tools. It's not possible. So that's why you just say the shape, and then you say what kind of texture you have, and the size of the 3D model is just determined by the size of the texture. You cannot scale it larger or smaller. It's not possible. And that way, we keep things rather clean. That means that everything is scaled more or less identically. Like back there, pixels are smaller than here in front because it's further away, right? But all adjacent pixels are roughly the same size, and that's the important key here. Like neighboring pixels have a consistent size, and that's how you keep the pixel art look, more or less. That's the idea. That's something.
Some exceptions with animated stuff, but we make sure the animated stuff is quickly animated, so you don't see the stretching of everything.
Yeah, we break the rules a little bit, especially for characters. When it comes to characters, so let me just show you the intro again. Unfortunately, the Morbin time has been removed.
Oh no!
I'm afraid that didn't really fit the writing version, but okay.
What? What?
But yeah, so if you look at from far, you won't notice, but if you zoom in and play it slow, you will see that we do use some scaling and especially a lot of rotation. Here back there, you see it a little bit for the ponytail. But yeah, the trick really is to keep this minimal so you don't notice it too strongly. And the plus side is we can have very detailed animations because of that, right? So we can have... And also 16 viewing directions and stuff like that. So...
Yeah.
Oh no, the game crashed.
Ratchet didn't get sleepy with the music.
Oh my gosh, what
I'm
did I
just
do?
in general sleepy today.
Ooh, interesting. What did I do there? Camera model, reset, pause. Huh. Oh my gosh, I have already, I think I have an idea. Okay. I knew this was gonna happen. Okay, maybe I can fix this bug now.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting.
There are probably many other small things we're forgetting right now because there's a lot of tweaking here and fixing little bugs and pixels there that made everything work.
Yeah.
Like it didn't just, we had the idea and it worked immediately. It was still how you say it when you go over it over and over again.
Iterative.
Yeah.
Iterating over stuff. Yeah. So there was I mean, it did take us a long time to get to this point too. So there was a lot of technology developed there. Okay, this is not good. Is dynamic.
For example, we also have a little slider that adds just a tiny bit of smoothing between pixels, just on the edge. So you mostly have clear pixels, but instead of just going from one pixel to the next, you have a little bit of interpolation between it. And we made that configurable, and we played around with it a little and just settled on one random number, one magic number. But I think it's most of the time it's like 1 or 2 pixels, like screen pixels, are using the interpolation, but most other pixels are just the pixel color itself.
Okay.
Like when you could probably see that when you make a screenshot and then zoom into the screenshot.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to fix this bug now.
Yeah, sure.
This is
explaining. There are a lot of little things. It's hard to just say. Oh,
it's
yeah,
also what I think is funny. I mean, did you talk about the pixel correction before, or about something else?
Right. That also comes with it.
Yeah, it's funny because in the beginning I only had this pixel correction idea. The pixel correction idea is that the idea is everything is nearest neighbor. which might lead to a little bit weird jittering if things are far away. And I think it was inspired by something that you showed me in the past, Flora, where you said you can actually emulate, you can actually use linear sampling, but kind of rounded in a way that it still looks sharp. You know, you kind of like, you calculate the precise texture position in a way that it still looks kinda pixel art-esque, but a little bit soft, so it's less jittery, so there's less anti-aliasing. And the idea is you can do something like this by tracking, you just render the center color, so you make nearest neighbor rendering, but then you track how far to the edge you sampled actually the color, how far close to the edge of the pixel the color was sampled. And for every screen pixel where the texture was sampled very close to the edge, you just mix it with a neighboring pixel in a post-processing step. And that kind of worked, but ironically, in the end, we only use this at the edge of graphics, and there is actually, we just use a little bit of linear texture sampling. It's not entirely...
Can you screenshot and zoom in?
I can, yeah.
I think we can actually show it a little bit.
Okay, maybe I will use a
That
sprite.
makes it easier to understand.
Yeah. It's actually hard to see here, but here you can see it a little bit. For instance, you see this here? I think this is the effect here, where it's a little bit smooth at the edges. I can actually play a little bit with the parameters to show the difference, I think. Okay, let
Maybe
me...
it's more visible on the terrain. I'm not sure.
So there is the map shader and the billboard shader. I think that one is interesting. Here, there's a sharpness factor. So maybe if I zoom in, I can show you can see this better. So this is how sharpness 0 would look like, you know? It's very blurry, and if you overdo it with that, it doesn't look like Pixar. That looks like crap in general. So that kind of like...
You maximize the window, Felix.
Oh yeah, I should do that. Okay, so look, this is how it looks like with sharpness 0. This is how it looks like with sharpness 1. And this looks clean, but it has the disadvantage that things seem to jitter a lot. So especially if it's a little bit further away, things look kind of unclean. I think you can actually see it a little bit here. That like kind of like things are very jumpy. Pixels just appear and disappear again very frequently. Whereas if you make it 0,
Maybe you can turn on slow motion.
yeah, I can.
Slow motion usually makes it
Yeah,
very jittery and ugly.
yeah. I wonder if you actually even see the difference now. Oh man, I'm looking at this here, but this is not a billboard. This is a billboard here. Okay, look at this closely. And now let's go to 0. Okay, here you can see it quite easy. Look at this. Look how smooth this looks like when I move very slowly. And now look again if I do sharpness to 1. You see this? I hope you can see this with the quality. Let me just go here. Look very closely at how this is looking. You might see that it's kind of like jittering, like things are jumping a little bit. Like it looks like it's like there's, I don't know, hot weather, and you can see how things are bending a little bit, you know, that's how it looks like, this effect. And if I make it smooth, it actually looks much more solid and consistent. So that's like the advantage of having linear sampling. It kind of like, it works better in terms of anti-aliasing, but it doesn't look like pixel art. So we go somewhere in between. We actually, unfortunately, this editor is broken, so I cannot set the old value, or maybe I can. Yeah, So we just decided to go somewhere in between. So you still have this jittering a little bit, but it's not quite as strong. Actually, it still is as strong. I think in the end we decided pixel art look is more important. I don't know.
Question, Felix.
Yeah.
Do we still upload the stuff on YouTube? The
When I
Twitch
not
stream?
forget it, but yeah.
Okay.
So I tend to forget it. I think last time I didn't, but
Yeah.
I may have forgotten.
Because we had a question where the Twitch VODs are going, but Twitch tends to delete them after a while.
Yeah, after 2 weeks. And if I
Oh,
not
yeah,
forget
okay.
it, I will upload them on YouTube. But there are some missing streams, unfortunately.
The lost streams.
Yeah, so in other words, we see if an in-game pixel, how far it lands on a screen pixel. And if it's kind of in between screen pixels, we interpolate it a little bit
Yeah.
to make it smoother, to not make it jump from one pixel to the next. But
Yeah. And it's really subtle.
Yeah.
It's so subtle that I'm not even sure it's worth it, honestly, but I still want to keep it in.
I think it is. I think it makes it easy on the eyes overall.
Okay, and because you can actually still enable and disable it. That one is it's just this no, it's not combined pass, pixel correction here. Okay. It's hard to see the difference. You mostly see it on terrain. We very often actually had it that the pixel correction was broken. But
Yeah.
ironically, it always felt weird, but it took some time to actually notice this, but we did notice it, actually. It's a very subtle thing. But I'm not sure I can actually see it now. You know, all that fog makes it difficult, I think. Or maybe something is broken here. Well, yeah, you know, a lot of subtle stuff. Maybe going overboard in certain ways, but you know, that's how it is with game dev. Okay, I wanted to fix this bug. Let me see if I can reproduce it. Mostly just want to see why exactly it crashes there. I did some changes recently with the target system, and actually I'm kind of proud of that it works. I just extended our target system that you can actually have screen targets. So instead of targeting an entity, you can target a screen position. And what it does is, every frame it just recalculates a word position that would be exactly at that screen position. And then you can use this to show effects and whatever relative to your screen. And I was actually surprised how well this works. But I suspect because of those changes the game is crashing now. So let's see. Obviously, the game is not crashing now. What did I do? Oh yeah, because I just wanted to see why this even happens in the first place. It's like I'm adding an invalid target. And that's kind of weird. It shouldn't happen.
By the way, did we have a chatbot in our Twitch chat?
I think we did.
Okay, here we go.
So I would like to finally add some commands.
Entity to entity is null. Set entity. Entity. Ah, yeah, here's the issue here. Entity target. The target here is. I have to check stuff. Okay.
I'll be going.
Okay.
I have to do the sleep.
The sleep.
The sleep.
See, Felix, that's also
guys
like
have
a meme
fun.
thing. Okay.
Until next
You guys
time.
have a good sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep.
Dream well.
DreamWorks. I mean, no.
It's funny. It looks like it's actually trying to get an entity here, but it's not there. Which looks like it's a bug.
That's neither here nor there, Felix.
Yeah. Set cover target. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, well, it's definitely a bug. But yeah, actually what you should query there is this entity. That's better. Because you're expecting an entity here. Fixing things. Okay, I think I found the bug. So, are there more chat messages?
Game is
Could have
status.
been caused by you zooming the camera when demoing. I don't think so. No, I know exactly why it happened. I was just wondering why that happened in the first place. But it happens because there was an invalid camera target and we tried to focus something which wasn't there. And to me that's weird because I didn't expect there to be an invalid camera target. So like the old behavior was that it just ignored it. And the new behavior was that it crashed, and that should be fixed.
We have another first-time chatter. HG Helion says, "Hello, loved crosscode. Game is legend status. Project Terra is one of my biggest anticipated games of the next 5 years. Really excited and can't wait. You have my full support. Thank you so much."
Finally, somebody who are having a realistic expectation to when the game will be finished.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we hope it will not take 5 years, but you know.
Yeah, but they're like, no pressure.
No pressure.
I recently saw. I mean, you also follow what's it called again? Hard Drive Mac. Basically, the onion for video game news. And the one with I'm just gonna post it in Discord. You have to click the link to see to understand why the joke works. Man keeps starting side quests while whole world freaks out about the main one, and it's the entire article is about George R.R. Martin. Yeah, I mean, he said that he expects the next book to be maybe finished this year. So who knows?
Oh, yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, Crosscode took 7 years for version 1.0 and then another 3 years or 2.5 years, something like that, for the DSC. Kovash asks, this one is off current topic, but I ask again, when you show that trick with the box and water, can that box change level up down if you change level of water as well? I don't think that will be hard to implement if we have changing water levels, which I also think are kind of realistic with what technology we're using now. So
Yeah.
I think it's doable. At least that's how I would estimate it. And usually I'm good at. Usually I'm more pessimistic. Let's say like that. So
True. I mean,
when
you,
I
I
say
mean, you
it
have
works, I
to.
think it works. Usually.
You have to understand the current version of Box and Water is basically a thing I made in 1 hour or something with 5 lines of code. It's basically just, oh look, it checks if the terrain is water,
Yeah.
and then it sets itself to float
Yeah.
or to fly level basically. Fly level is equal to the water, basically to the water surface, and that's basically it.
Mukilchin 300 asks, are you planning to do a crowdfunding for Project Terra? I gladly give you my money. The sad news is at least not crowdfunding in the sense we did it for Crosscode, because this doesn't mix well with the funding we have. There's still the idea to have maybe an additional feature, stuff like voice acting as a crowdfunding project. But even that, I'm not 100% sure you'll pull it off. It's definitely an additional workload to make that work. However, we might do early access. That is more doable.
Which is both true.
I actually have an idea for raising and lowering water. Imagine if the water raises, you can make the water just a little bit bowl shaped, so it's a little bit higher in the middle than on the outside. Then when it rises and it covers new surface, that surface gets not covered immediately, but fills it up basically.
That would be very cool. Would look even more realistic then. Yeah.
And if you think about lowering.
For lowering, it would be the inverse. You would.
Yeah, I think.
You would think so.
Although?
It's a little bit weird, actually, because you would expect it to actually first go away from the side and then last from that one spot where it appears, you know? So it would also actually be the inverse, but you would have like a vertex in the middle. That's why you would expect it to be the other way around, but hey, no, those are details.
Yeah, of course.
Because honestly, I
idea.
usually I would expect changing water levels, not water disappearing entirely. That's usually what you have.
Aw. They're saying you made a game, honestly, that most AAA games can't even touch in terms of love and quality. Thank you
Wow.
so much. That's the highest praise. Another first-time chatter, Holy Ribbons, says, honestly, it's really awesome seeing so many small indie devs create, in my opinion, masterpieces like you guys. I would recommend people check out games like Hollow Knight, Chained Echoes, Stardew, etc. while waiting. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of great
Please do.
games out there. You can
Chained
also
Echoes,
check out
also another German RPG.
Lunistis is another game we would like to recommend, because it also seems to be definitely very popular with the people who play it. Though it doesn't seem to get as much attention as Chain Echo.
Unsighted.
Because it has no
Signalis
marketing
is
budget.
another great German
Oh yeah,
indie game.
definitely.
That's Resident Evil, Silent Hill inspired. And
Yeah, we
a little bit
can-
of Nier.
Yeah, Signalis is also a great game, especially if you like games, horror games like I think gosh,
Resident Evil,
Silent Hill, I think, especially Silent Hill, I think. I think that was like one of the big inspirations, but it has like a very cool pixel art look too.
Yeah.
I think.
And it's made by 2 people. It's
Yes.
crazy.
It's less than 3. God damn it.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Yep.
It has like a very cool scenario, which is like East Germany going into space, you know.
Wait, really?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it does that. It's really cool.
What if the DDR didn't fail?
And instead it makes space colonies
Yeah.
Nice.
with
And
like a
they
lot of communist
China
or
together.
socialist stuff going around. So.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so funny. There's the game mechanic where you can only hold 6 items at a time,
Yeah,
because
which
of
is-
course those games use inventory management and stuff as a game.
Yeah.
And the explanation is private property is
It's a privilege.
Yeah, it's a privilege, and it's not seen lightly.
Genau.
Oh, God,
You should
that's-
limit your
Very-
possessions to a maximum of 6 things. And that's why
Yeah.
you can only carry 6 things.
That's
Which,
actually
by the
pretty
way,
funny.
is often the most annoying part about the game, but, you know.
Yeah, I still think it would help if you can upgrade it later in the game, like
Yeah,
to
or
7 or 8
if they at least made an exception for key items, that would have helped a lot. But you know, that's just how it is.
Being able to upgrade it by increasing your social credit score or something. So that would be more Chinese thing.
Yeah.
Lisa's cool if you like traditional Resident Evil 1 type gameplay. I haven't heard of that actually.
Mm.
Lisa, was that the RPG Maker thing or which one? Alisa. Okay, no, it's a different. I thought you meant like this one RPG Maker horror game.
Oh, that's always cool when it's from 2021, but it's very in the style of the 90s. It looks like a PS1 game. That's cool. Oh, thank you. I will check that out. That looks pretty cool.
Okay, the game doesn't crash anymore, that's good enough for me.
Good enough. Not good
Okay.
enough.
So I was actually working on a new enemy.
I still have to continue East. I started playing it. This was pretty fun, but I just have a bad record. Keep playing games.
Not the last one.
Oh, for me, it's both. There are quite a few AAA games I really adore. I love Zelda games. I love Nier Automata. I recently played the Nonary games, which are really cool. But of course, a lot of indie games too.
And don't forget FIFA.
Yes, FIFA, my absolute favorite.
Okay. So, let's tweak the armored enemy. Actually, I think I will make the armored enemy a little bit slower compared to the ball enemy.
Oh yes, why not? Also makes it a little easier hitting it with the hammer, probably.
Oh yeah, I mean those are not the problem fighting with the hammer. Like even the ball enemies are fine because they don't dodge really that much.
Do you plan to add voice acting to Project Terra? It's an idea.
Maybe.
Yeah, it would be
yeah,
great to have.
It's a big maybe. Of course, it wouldn't be like all like 100% voice acted. Only like important scenes, story relevant scenes and stuff. Because
Yeah, full
everything
voice
else would be
acting
up
is a
to
little
the
bit
law.
much.
Can you please do a small explanation on how the character rig animation thing works? I'm trying to make kind of similar thing. You can keep working. I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
So we use underneath there's a skeletal rig for the characters, very similar to what you would have for a 3D character, but instead of just a mesh that's morphing and changing shape around the skeleton.
Sorry, I will just mute the little feller.
Okay. We use billboards. Basically, we stick billboards on certain places of the skeleton, and depending on how that skeleton is rotated to the camera, we maybe show a different graphic. And that way we can just make one animation and it works from every direction, because the what means aufwendig again? The
Complicated.
I can't set a gravity between 0 and 1. Okay, sorry. It's elaborate.
Yeah, the elaborate or complicated part is setting up the model with the skeleton and all the graphics from all the directions, especially for our main character who has 16 directions. For other characters like enemies, we only use 8 or 9 directions. Exactly. The skeleton is pretty much is very similar, I would say.
Yeah, it's very similar. I think the technology is almost the same, though. It does. Let me think. In the difference is in 3D, you can boil down a skeleton by just calculating a couple of matrices per bone, and then you just transform vertices of a mesh using different transformations, and you might interpolate them on the seams. It's a little bit more elaborate in our case, because we do weird stuff with billboards.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but the data structure behind that is, I think, very similar. Like it's kind of an equivalent in a way.
Yeah. So the skeleton is pretty much the same, but the mesh is very different.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we don't have a 3D mesh, we have a weird billboard mesh, and we do a lot of weird things to make those transformations look good. Also, we tweaked a few things afterwards, like we had an initial version and it worked, but some things were really annoying, and then I found out a way on how to hack Z depth in a way that it looks less weird, and since then it's a lot more stable.
Yeah,
So
we can
stuff
also
like that.
tweak the Z depth of billboard. So even if they're 3D in a certain spot in space,
Yeah.
we can still push them away or towards the camera.
There's actually a nice thing I can show for that. I think it should still be here. Let me see if I can find it. Tesh. Bone tutorial. No, that's not. Example. Of course, naming things.
And for the animation, it's very similar. Again, we have keyframes and we interpolate between those keyframes.
Yeah, I got it here. So this is here. This is the thing I like to show. So imagine those arrows are billboards, and if you remember, billboards are objects that are shown in a way that they're parallel to the screen. That way you don't have pixel scaling. And if you look very closely, you actually don't have pixel scaling here. You see that's a little bit here that I think there's no pixel scaling at least. But yeah, so those are billboards, but they are right on top of the ground, and that's because of this weird Z index trick. So okay, maybe I can show this. If I just copy this whole thing here and just say there's no rotation. Okay, I do need some rotation though. Okay, let me just do this here. If I just say parent rotates, here we go. So here, this is normally what happens if you have a billboard, right? If it's very close to the ground, because it's parallel to the screen, but the floor isn't. That means the billboard at some point it goes below the screen, below the floor, and it's hidden. So just showing a billboard that starts at this point and ends here might break things because of the way billboards are structured. The kind of like the Z def doesn't fit the actual bone, which goes not parallel to the screen, right? And there's a way to just calculate this difference and just say, okay, you know, you are a billboard, but actually the Z-def of those vertices should be closer to the screen, and those two should be further away to the screen, and maybe just add those deltas somewhere in the fragment shader. And it works, honestly, and I just tried out some magic values until it fit. So I didn't really do the full math there, if I'm being honest. But it works, so at least it works well enough, and now we have billboards which are supposed to be parallel to the screen, but we actually tweak the Z def values in a way that they are parallel to the ground instead. So that was one of those very cool moments for me, because there was always a problem that bugged me, and I didn't expect to be able to find a solution like this. But yeah, that's something that we did at least, I think, 4 or 5 months after we developed the system. So this came a little bit later.
Okukagan asks, I really like Crosscode OST. Is Dennis involved with this Terra soundtrack? And yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Whenever he has time from apart from his studies.
The texture looks? Do you mean like the whole sprite sheet?
I can quickly show it. Here, that's all. No, that's not right. This is all. Sorry, it's a bit larger, but yeah, that's all. You know, there's a few head frames, a lot of eye poses. Yeah, we actually do replace the eyes on top of the head.
Yeah, we can still have sprite animations. Like we can.
Yeah, for the ponytail in particular, for anything that's very elastic or clothes, we can still use sprite animations. Also, the hair animation is still pixel art.
But for the amount of animations, this is tiny.
That is tiny. I mean, layer sprite sheet is a lot larger than this, trust me. Also, there's a lot of empty space, and we could compress this more effectively, but yeah. This is tiny, really. It's and that's a big advantage.
This is a lot because of 16 directions, which we only do for the main characters. For NPCs, for example, we would have a much smaller sheet.
Yeah.
With much simpler things. Like for example, the head rotations. You can see the head from top and from the bottom if she like does a flip or lays on the ground, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Things we would you normally don't need for NPCs.
That's true. Maybe I can quickly show you a layer sprite sheet, or
Yeah.
maybe just one of them, just to get an impression of how big those sprite sheets become for main characters. I think we called this one move. Here we go.
Yeah, I think Leia had like several ones, right?
Yeah, she had like, that's not the only one. There's also poses, which are just scene poses, right? We don't have to do custom graphics and poses anymore for the most part. For instance, like for Leia, we do have salto poses here. And for Yuno, we already do have a salto, a somersault.
Did Leia have 16 directions as well?
Look at this. You already has a somersault.
Does Leia have 16 directions or 8?
8.
Yeah, okay.
So that's also different, right? A lot of it is about having 16 directions. 2.
Yeah, you can imagine the layer sheet with 16 directions. It would be almost double the size.
And here we have the throw sheet. Yeah. Yeah, trust me, this is nothing. Like this sheet is tiny, especially for the amount of animations Yuno has already. That is just one of the big reasons why we did this, because we wanted to have nice animations and being able to create animations in a more flexible way. I'm pretty sure if everything goes well, you will also have a lot more custom animations and cutscenes too that way, because we can just afford to do small animations very quickly that just fit the scene better. We can do more expressions for all the characters, stuff like that. So
yeah, and another big advantage is, of course, we can reuse animations for different characters.
Yeah, that too. So we don't have to recreate everything from scratch every time.
Looks like a good way for modders to make body parts without need to make a full character. Yes.
Yeah, that's also definitely possible. We can actually create
a template character.
Yeah.
That's basically naked.
Yeah.
That's like a base for us as well to know what we need.
Mm.
And yeah, modders can. I would say that's much easier than overall than making a whole character sheet.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I don't actually know. It's T3's job, but
it is a lot less work, I think. I mean, to be fair, you have to get used to. The big downside is you would need our tools. I think without our tools, it will be a lot harder to make really custom content. That might have probably was easier in CrossGo because you could just rely on having nice graphics. Yeah. Okay. Let me actually at least get the enemy done now. I should increase the weight a little bit. It's heavier. Okay, now about resistance. So this one actually is pretty resistant to those, but less resistant to hammer.
Another cool thing with the system is we can also use it for like puzzle elements, or I don't know, doors, or we can make machines out of it. That way they have moving parts, we can use the animations for that. Just imagine a steam pipe machine, and you have a bar going up and down, and moving something.
Okay, so this works pretty well already. Now we have enemies that are really difficult to defeat using your sword, but if you have your hammer, they just die with 2 strikes.
Nice.
Nice. Right. Yeah, that was easy. I didn't expect this to take long, honestly. I mean, I have this idea of maybe using different sounds when you hit them with non-hammer weapons. I can try to do this.
We probably need more sounds for those things.
Yeah.
Those cases.
I'm not sure if that actually already works well. Let me try something. Init.
Oh, RFG hat and hoodie or onesie when. One day. Maybe.
Hit resistance.
It has to be done.
Block all. Okay.
I've never seen anything like the graphics of this game before. I think it looks better than what Square Enix did with the 2.5D games. More people need to know about this. Okay, it's a bit of a brag, but I think so too. I think ours looks better.
I have to admit, I've been playing Triangle Strategy recently, and I have to admit, I think their style has their own appeal too. It's not quite the same. Obviously, they have a stronger focus on just showing off the fancy effects and everything. But some of those effects actually
perspective.
Yeah. Some of those effects just look really cool too. So I think those games have a visual appeal to them as well. Our approach just was kind of like we stay closer to pixel art. We just add a more subtle 3D perspective. Whereas there they just have you very clearly see those are pixel art characters running around the 3D environment. Some of the pixel art textures are low res, and you can see that, but they're kind of angled. You do see the 3D models very clearly. But especially Triangular Strategy looks a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics. And to be fair, Final Fantasy Tactics was also 3D with pixel art textures, if you think about it. They didn't have clean pixel art look. So it kind of reminds me of that, and it looks really cool for that, I think. Okay, what did I want to do? I forgot. I forgot, I mean. Okay.
Felix, please.
Stop, Brad Bar. Okay.
You have to be hip with the kids.
Okay. No! Why does it still show the sound? That's not good. Okay. I need to fix that. But yeah, in principle it works. I just have to make sure that the shield sound is not played when you use the hammer. And that should be possible. Okay, let's see.
Impossible, Felix. Impossible.
I think I never heard the original of this song. I only know the Smash Brothers version. The original is much more relaxed.
Which one? Which game is it from?
Earthbound, right?
Ah, that's the Earthbound one. Okay.
Okay, where do I actually evaluate the shields?
Shin Spiegel asked, what is the software? The editor or like the code editor or the game editor? Because the game editor is our own software. The code editor is WebStorm. How will the equipment work in game? Is also armor visible on characters? Not directly. You can see different weapons in use, and there may be there's the possibility for different like skins or accessories. But we don't use equipment per se, so you don't put on armor.
Okay.
It works a little different.
I would just use greater equal then, so that should fix it. I think I got it.
I don't know how much I can talk about it.
So what did you talk about?
Someone asked if you can see equipment and armor.
That's not really planned.
Yeah.
We might do more customizable weapons. Look, it works. Now if you take it, it's... Yeah, that actually works a lot better. We never had this in crosscode, but I think in Terra we will use this more often, that you do hear shield sounds like this when enemies are just very resistant towards certain things.
Yeah, I mean, in effect, that basically means that it's a shield, even if you don't.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a strict technical shield.
Now here. Here we go. Nice. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Visible armor is just, I think, a lot of work, and I think the payoff for small characters like this isn't just quite as great, because it's hard to make a lot of unique armor when the character isn't so big on the screen.
So something like gems for the weapons. Oh, maybe we talked about it actually.
Yeah,
About what?
I think so.
About gems in the weapons.
Mm.
I mean, armor is basically works in a similar way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing is, you actually don't get armor too. You actually get gems that you put into your armor, more or less. It's a little bit more abstract. That's why it actually wouldn't make sense to show different armor, like from the lore. That's our excuse.
Just curious, are you mainly playing games of other indie studios or more frequently AAA titles? I think it's a mixed bag.
Mix mostly. I mean, thing is, if I play AAA games, it's usually either on console or older ones. But I'm not really up to date with the newer AAA games that the kids these days like to play. So I don't play it.
Resident, who was here before in the chat, he plays a lot of the new games. He plays the new Horizon, the new God of War, stuff like that. I'm mostly many years behind, especially with AAA games, because they're not cheap.
Yeah.
So I wait a long time before I play any of those games.
Yeah, same.
Indie games are much cheaper, of course, and it depends. If I really like that game or really crave that gameplay, I buy it soon.
Yeah.
Or like early. But sometimes I just wait a few years until it's cheaper. Maybe it's on a sale somewhere, and I feel like, oh yeah, now's a good time to get it. Put it on the list. But yeah, mostly I'm currently playing Overwatch a lot, and I'm playing Gunfire Reborn a lot. Gunfire Reborn is so much fun. Really good game.
It's funny to just kill those things, just hitting the armor until they die. Click, 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 play! I can't do it anymore. Yeah. We may want to have a different sound, which isn't quite as... I mean, honestly, this is just a crosscode sound. I do like the sound still because it's a very, very clear feedback. But it might be a bit too much for enemies like this, because here the community... it should communicate like, yeah, it's less effective, but you can still kill them. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also on the other hand, I would like to have another added sound when the enemy is in a weak state and you do damage, like effective damage. Like some signal character there would be cool.
Yeah, I want to have a sound for breaking enemies in particular. But yeah, maybe more if you're for weakness damage. The thing is, we really have to be careful about how many hit sounds we make. We had this idea for... I mean, we still want to have elemental sounds too. That was the thing. And yeah, I think we gave up on weapon property sounds. And I think that's fine. We probably don't want to have different sounds for piercing and slicing. I think at some point it gets too much.
I mean, I would still add a few different sounds. For example, the hammer should make a different sound than the sword, I think.
Yeah, it's a question. I think the way it is right now, it works for hitting stuff effectively.
Okay.
I don't know. We can experiment stuff. I'm just saying, because hit sounds aren't that exactly easy to get right in the first place. So having a lot of them might be a lot of work too. But we can definitely try. Like, so we can extend this and see how much we can make work.
Ito Mingma asks, what game would you recommend? And I have a question back. What type of game do you like? What are you interested in? Are you interested in RPG? Because then I recommend Chained Echoes.
Yeah, I've Chained Echo. Wow, I should totally play that game at some point. Chained Echo is really good. Chained Echoes is really good. I've played it in the beta test. Like,
if you're more into action, fast-paced gameplay, I forgot the name. The Brazilian one. What's it called? We talked about it before.
Do you mean the one that
Unsighted?
Unsighted, yes. The one that's totally just like Crosscode, according to some people.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but I mean, I hear it has some really interesting gameplay elements to it. But I haven't played it so far. I want to at some point.
Yes. Perfect replacement sound for effective damage is a loud scream.
Okay.
A loud scream. I mean, that really depends on the enemy, right? Sometimes you can have loud screams, sometimes not.
Kovac posted something, and it's a joke, of course.
Okay. Okay, gonna be right back in a be right back in a few minutes.
Of all time.
Yeah, that's very effective. Holy shit.
Let me see. I have a hard time thinking or remembering names, so I have to open Steam. I mean, I could talk about some no-brainers like Hades. Yes, they play Hades.
Oh boy.
Probably like it. It's really good. I mean, there's so many. It's hard to say. Risk of Rain is good. I like Borderlands a lot. Borderlands 2 is still really fun. Or Borderlands 3, if you like it. Little Nightmares is something I really liked. That's really cool. Both 1 and 2.
I really didn't play a lot
I
of
don't
games
know.
recently. God damn it! What would I
Yeah,
even recommend?
Same. I'm actually not.
I actually
I'd
have
stay
to
on the
admit,
same
I
games
did
for a long
play.
time.
I mostly did play AAA games recently. I didn't really play a lot of indies. I think. What were indie games that I played recently? Dang it.
I like Unsighted, but my biggest issue is I feel the game over relies on you parrying enemies. Yes, very.
Hmm.
You have to parry in that game.
I did play Celeste at some point, but you know that's
Yeah,
a
Celeste,
break.
of course, Vampire
Celeste is an
Survivors
awesome
also.
game. Yeah. I never played
I
Hollow
usually
Knight. I
watch
should
the
replay
streams on
it.
YouTube when I get some downtime. Did I miss a few streams? I swear I saw some stream notifications without seeing any new videos uploaded. A few weeks ago, probably 2022.
That's
no?
unfortunately likely. Sometimes I do forget to upload streams. Okay, since the enemy is apparently done for the most part.
Yeah, and that answers the question, but the real question is Project Terra when, and the time's now. It's ready. It's done.
What? No!
Did it.
Why?
Yeah, that's the final enemy here. That's the final
Yeah,
boss.
final boss. Yes.
Yeah, right. Did you already answer the chained echo? Yeah, I mean we mentioned chained echoes. And yes.
Who's that?
Crystal Project exploration feels very cross-cody. I don't know Crystal Project.
Hey, a bit of Bailey's joined. Welcome. Welcome.
Hello.
Just a bit of Baileys? I would
Project Terra before Silksong? It's a possibility.
maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Oh.
I mean, isn't Silksong kind of a meme at this point? Is it? Also, big important
Interesting.
question.
Actually not. I mean,
Haven't really paid.
it's not that old.
Mhm. Silksong. I think the only thing that was a bit of a meme is that it has been ages since it last got any news, right?
Yeah.
It ages, quote unquote, like a year or two
I mean,
or
did you
whatever.
get any updates before? What's the main game called? I forget the name all the time.
Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight. Before Hollow Knight came out, did you get any news there? I don't know.
Yeah, but it was as highly expected before. Yeah.
When
you know,
is,
making games is
Hollow Knight?
hard.
2018, 2019 or something?
It was announced 2019, and the first Hollow Knight came out, I think 16? No, 17. Okay, but of course it only got popular when it came to the Switch in 2018. Right, Felix? That's how it
I
was.
see.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you see, the new Zelda,
Hmm.
Breath of the Wild came out in 2017.
Yeah,
Zelda is coming out this year, and it's a AAA game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of true for both. Funny enough, like because Silksong is also supposed to come out this year.
So,
So we'll see.
I'm just saying, give them time.
So also, Felix,
They're still indies, so
did you complain at all about the fun song that I played?
No, but what fun
Damn it!
song?
It was too fun. I played this weird N64 game theme. It's from a game called fuck. What was it again? Something. Yeah, Bug Bumble was the game. Was the name.
No, I didn't notice.
It's really. I found that like coincidentally on some playlist called weird video game music. Okay, I guess I have to play it again then.
Yeah, you have to, I guess.
Okay, play. It's the blue one, right? Yeah, blue one. Bug Bumble theme and priority. God damn it! I hate this fucking. Okay. And because can I skip? Skip first? No, but
I
before I
want
skip.
to start making pizza.
8 a.m. What is this?
Beer.
We forgot. We all forgot. What is 8 a.m.? Where's this from? The song. it also Earthbound or something? Hmm. 8 a.m. Okay, searching for it is a bit annoying. Okay.
I can do that too.
Now, Felix, did you really not notice this totally not weird and annoying song?
Yes, I did notice it actually. Yeah. Now that you mention
Like,
it,
yeah, this is fine.
I don't know this playlist, so I thought maybe this is actually a weird video game song.
It's a weird video game it's track, but it's one that I just added manually because it's not on the playlist. It's some semi-obscure N64 platformer, quote unquote. But but it's not really a platform. It's more a flying shooty game where you play a bee, like a robot cyborg bee or something with a laser gun. And I've never seen it before, but it had a very iconic, funny theme song that some people remember, I guess.
Nice.
So I guess we should add it to the standard playlist now.
Funny thing is, I know that song from
You know it?
somewhere.
You might know
Probably
it from...
some meme compilations.
Yes, because it has been like remixed with like Super Mario Sunshine theme and some other themes. And it works surprisingly well, actually.
Akkobar says, have a great weekend, guys, in chat. Crosscode is still one of my dearest memories when I think of video games in the last year. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much. Have a good weekend as well.
Look, someone actually wrote in all caps "Bug Bumble." It triggered some nostalgia. Bumble, what is Bug Bumble? It's from 98. It's from Argonaut software. I know that. What did they do? They did Croc, Alien Resurrection, from Harry. Okay. It's almost over. Good.
How did I just manage to ignore this song? I think something we discussed stuff that was very distracting.
Okay. Anyway, a bit of Bailey's is here, and he wants to tell us about how much he likes Crosscode and us. Or maybe not. Also, did I already mention that a great game has been coming back recently? I think I mentioned it. Yeah, I've mentioned it to you already. And of course, I've been playing that game the entire time during this. No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't. I didn't.
Don't do it.
No, I won't. It's bad. No, it's not bad. It's a good game sometimes when I win. But it's not a good game to play on stream while doing some other stuff because it can be really distracting. No, Duelyst is back, everyone. Duelyst is back. Named Duelyst 2, but it's actually just Duelyst 1. But not the whole Duelyst 1. It's Duelyst 1, the very first version.
He's gone.
He's gone. No.
Oh.
The Duelyst talk was too much for him. No, it's actually a very interesting story. Duelyst 2, not Duelyst 2, the original Duelyst, you know, it was like a Hearthstone deck building competitive game. kind of a lot like Hearthstone, but better because it was not Hearthstone, and also it had like a tactical aspect to it, where you had like this a board that you had to manage, a field where you could order your units around and stuff like that. So the position was important. It was pretty good, a lot of fun, but the card balance was pretty off, which I noticed because I was losing a lot. That was very bad.
Yeah.
So at some point I basically
must be badly balanced. Then.
Yeah, bad game. Hacks.
Bad game.
The ping. Anyway, at some point I stopped, partially because it was too stressful or annoying to me, and also a lot of time, blah blah. And a month later, because I stopped and the game balance was bad, and that's why I stopped. The game was, how you say it? It was phased out. Basically, the servers were taken down and stuff like that. And I mean, there was the entire thing before that it got bought by some other company, and then it got the monetization was worse, and I don't know. At some point, it certainly got stopped. And how you say it? It was retired. Retired is the word, right? And then some years ago, someone made a crowdfunding. It was actually the developers of Kingdom of the Dump, for example. I forgot the name. Not Hungry Couch. It was. Fuck. What was the name again? You know, Felix, I have to start Duelyst real quick, so I know the developer.
No, man, don't do it.
Come on. Something with sloth. Something with sloth. No, I have to. You know what? I'm just going to look it up on Steam. Was it Lazy Sloth, maybe? No, it was Dream Sloth Games, who are also developing Kingdom of the Dump, which you might know because we made a stream drawing for that at some point.
We did.
Yes, and that one is basically a Chrono Trigger inspired JRPG, I think. In any case, they made a Kickstarter, and through that they basically bought the right to Duelyst and the entire source code.
Wow.
And they did that, and now they own the source code. And first of all, they made it open source recently, so basically anyone can access the source code and do their own Duelyst. Basically, as long as they need to make a server or something so that it actually runs. But in principle, they can take the source code and make their own Duelyst with blackjack and hookers, or gameplay balance adaptations, stuff like that. But also they relaunched Duelyst as Duelyst 2. And in doing so, they just used the same source code, but they did some changes to the gameplay system, to the game balance, and to like certain cards. But they did start from the ground up, basically, to start with a more simple game balance. So they didn't instantly throw in all the add-ons and stuff like that. They started with a part of the core set and to like build up the balance differently from the ground up. So so the same gameplay mistakes, quote unquote, the same balance pitfalls that made the first game maybe less fun for new players or other players won't happen this time, because the gameplay is a bit different in some details. Biggest detail being that the hero abilities have been taken out for now, and it's running on a 2-pull system instead of a 1-pull system. So you draw 2 cards instead of 1 per round, which is a big difference because it changes the card economy, stuff like that. But I like it because it makes you interact with your deck much more, and you aren't constantly strapped for card options to play, which is always annoying in deck building games, even if it's part of the balance. But come on, people want to play cards. That's why they're playing card games. Yeah, but yeah, I've been playing that a bit. I'm not overdoing it. I'm basically doing dailies, but not even all the dailies. The good thing about Duelyst is that you can do dailies like piece by piece. Like, oh, you only managed to.
I'm happy that you clarified that you're not overdoing it.
Yes, it's very It's very important to clarify that Felix is around. No, I mean that's a very good thing about how Duelyst handles quest dailies, because in many other games it's like, oh yeah, you have to do your dailies on the day that you got them, otherwise your progress is gone. And Duelyst is like, yeah, you can do your dailies, and you can only reach like half the progress on the daily, and then you can do the other half next day. I mean, you still lose out on rewards because you don't get you don't get the new dailies the next day that you didn't do for the slot you didn't do, but at least you don't have to always do them completely in the day to get some rewards at all. I like that. It's more relaxed and stuff like that. And it's fun. I mean, sometimes I want to just rage quit, but I mean, overall it's fun. It's a good game to like play on the side while watching some streams or something. But as I already said, it's not a good game to play while you're on a stream with someone else.
That is correct, Anna. Please remember that. Thank you.
That's something, Felix, I have to say. Hearthstone works because Hearthstone is way more brain dead than Duelyst. You don't need as much concentration on Hearthstone. But in the same vein, Hearthstone is boring, so I don't play it. So I also don't play it on stream. That's the thing. So no gaming on stream, of course. That would be very unprofessional. But I would never do that.
That's right, Anna. You would never.
I only do my Arknight side quest on the room. Okay. Oh, a message would allow. We allow the word hookers in this stream in the right context. Blackjack and hookers / game rebalancing are one and the same. That's true. What game? I was talking about deck building competitive game called Duelyst with a Y in the end. So it's Duel Y-S-T. Because it's cool. Is Crosscode supposed to be a... Can I actually... It's a German role-playing game, yes, with a J.
Yeah. Exactly, the J is the German.
That's how it works.
I'm actually maybe I should mention this, and I probably still need to answer them. That there's this Reddit called JRPGs. They talk about JRPGs, and they ask us if we would be interested in making an Ask Me Anything about those JRPGs that we are developing, called Crosscode and potentially Projectile in the future. And I thought, why not? But I don't know. Don't you think the thing that will happen there is that we will mostly be discussing if our games are supposed to be called JRPGs or not? So
yeah, that's yeah.
But I mean, there's clearly an overlap in interests, right? So
yeah, and I mean, I think it's good. I think it's good that they are not as elitist as your usual anime subreddits, who are like, "Oh no, we don't talk about that here. That is not anime from Japan." Like, do you remember the this one anime-styled music video that was so super popular back in the day?
Yeah.
I think it was Shelter by Porter Robinson, right? I think that was the one. And that was like obviously anime styled, and a lot of people that worked on it were also from the anime industry. So it was pretty obviously an anime music video. But I think the R anime subreddit was like, no, we don't allow this here. This is not from Japan. This was produced in America or something. It was really... Yeah, it was really, really funny. Is Avatar anime? I mean, see, good question.
Here we go again. Yeah, but it's tricky.
Avatar's anime, yes.
The thing is, of course, the producers are from the US, but most of the people who work on it, who work on the animation, are the same that also work on anime. Like people from, I don't know, They don't necessarily have to be from Japan, but because considering most anime is outsourced these days in terms of animation.
Avatar is mostly made in Korea.
Yeah, as far as I know.
And
I mean, some cartoons are also made. A lot of cartoons also. But I mean, it takes huge inspirations from other animes. It has a more anime art style. I mean, and
and also you might remember that Legend of Korra was basically produced by anime studios. Like Studio Mir was the main studio, and then in season 2, the parts that were not as good were done by Studio Pierrot, who do a lot of like your long-running, cheaper anime like Bleach and stuff.
But I mean, the animation was still great.
It's still pretty good. It was still pretty good. Oh yes, Studio Mir is actually from Korea. They made Legend of Korra. They made Boondocks, they made Voltron. Okay, they actually made mostly Western TV series, but in the style. But yeah.
Like if you ask me,
live action film starring M. Night Shyamalan.
If you ask me, I think connecting like a genre to a certain country is kind of like unnecessary. Like, why would you need a genre for that? You just say movies from Japan, anime from Japan, I don't know, and just saying that for a certain genre it has to be from a certain country. I mean, you can't just say Japanese cartoons or Japanese. I mean, that's the same thing. But I think it's a lot more about what is different from this genre compared to other genre, and that's why anime tend to be kind of different to Western cartoons, and that's why it's.
I mean, you could say that a lot of culture is also going into anime, but I mean that also supports that.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy is so 100% Japanese culture. I mean, you should look at all those Shinras and Ifrits, and it's 100% Japanese, everything.
Yeah, where else do you find designs like that?
Right. Nowhere. No, it's like, I know, like, obviously it was inspired by Japanese culture. But I don't know, it's like, if people now make something that feels very similar in certain ways, why it's not allowed to be called a JRPG just because it's not made in Japan? Like, then this is not a genre. Then JRPG is more like a qualification of where the thing was made. Like, it's the same if you ask if Dark Souls is a JRPG, and I think it's not. Some people think it is because it's made in Japan, and I think that's ridiculous. Why would you even why would you need this then? Why would you need this term? You can't just say it's a Japanese RPG, an RPG made in Japan. Like, why is the country so important?
That reminds me. That reminds me of there's like the at the Gamescom there were like booths by this big manga corporation. Not manga, it's like a giant press corporation that also does manga, like Shueisha, and they also host some indie games, and they have like this one indie game that has a lot of. That's basically a big crossover game of like manga characters from the Jump Plus platform. Yeah. Like Spy Family, Kaiju number 8.
Valiant Cheese is here. Hello.
Oh, hey. Heyo, Valiant Cheese. And this very Japanese game that has like the big crossover from many Japanese manga characters, blah blah, is made by a French person. So like that's really funny. I really like that. Also, on a side note, I posted some stuff in Discord about the Bug Bumble game. First of all, the screenshot that sure was an N64 game. And secondly, it came with a Rumble pack, but not just a Rumble pack. It was a Bumble pack because it had bee stripes. Do you remember the good old N64 Rumble packs that you had to put in your controller? This one was a Bumblebee Rumble pack. It's amazing. And also, it says here in the development thing, the game's soundtrack was composed by Justin Chavona and consists entirely of, and this is a genre, speed garage. I've intentionally tried to go for something that fits with the futuristic, not cutesy, something a bit harder. We didn't want some sort of boring techno stuff either, or jungle, so we picked speed garage. It's funkier than house and garage. It's good to know. I mean, I've heard about garage, but speed garage, interesting.
That is new.
We should also do speed garage in the Terra soundtrack. Sounds like the perfect thing. And the derivative forms of speed garage are baseline and donk. What is donk? Oh, it's also known as UK hard house. Okay. Okay.
What is donk?
Yeah, what is donk? What is my donk, Felix? Please explain your donk. Donk is a conk. Okay. Donk, also known as... Why is this also a derivative of... Music is so complicated. Music genres, what are those even? Also known as bounce or hard bounce. Okay. Donk a conk, right, that's how it is. It's not from Japan, it's just a sparkling role-playing game. Speaking of Japan, have you heard about this thing called anime?
No.
No. Have you ever seen any of those anime? In recent times, for example.
I mean, I'm still watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Right,
with
right.
My friend Björn. And we
Shout out
recently
to Björn.
started actually watching Avatar. It's his first time watching it.
Oh, yeah, right.
And
You just started, or?
yeah, we're in the middle of the first season.
And how does he like it?
He likes it, but he's not overly convinced yet.
Yeah, but it's...
I'm
yeah.
telling him that the first season is very episodic still.
Yeah, that's true. I think it really grows even more awesome over time.
Yeah, the second and third season are top notch. Like
Yeah,
they're
definitely.
the character building happens.
Mm.
The arcs, I mean, Toph is coming in, who's
Oh,
the
Toph is so
badass.
amazing. Yes.
Right. Toph is insect.
Azula comes into the game, and her friends, which are all really awesome.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's really...
But
Yeah,
I'm sorry. But I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that I'm telling him the first season is great for world building because they just visit a lot of different places. You get a good feel of the state the world is in because you see different people in different situations, how they handle the war with the Fire Nation. Different kinds of protest and revolution, how and why the Earth Empire is still standing up against the Fire Nation, and that makes the events in the second season more heavy, I think.
Right. And also, I'm not sure I think they do it less with time. Like they do a lot of explaining how like the whole spirit stuff works and stuff. I think that doesn't really happen that much again later, from what I remember. Like visiting the spirit world and stuff like that, with the face eater and that kind of thing.
Oh yes, the Face Eater is awesome.
Yeah, but I myself also, when I first watched it, like many years ago, it was like 10 years ago at this point, or even longer, and I also was like, I only saw like one episode at some place, and that was an episode that was not all that great, and at least out of context, And then I was like, yeah, that's okay, but I don't really want to watch that. And then at some point, I just watched it from the beginning, and then I liked it pretty quickly. And with time, I really got into it.
What actually
Very much.
I still remember what actually sold me for Avatar was some YouTube video just summarizing all the Sokka jokes.
Oh, right.
Like all the funny Sokka moments. And I saw that like, damn, that's generally funny. Because like one of the things that I really like about Avatar is the humor.
Yeah, the humor.
And that
great.
one was already early on like a good thing in my opinion. So that one was already in the first seasons. And that really got me into it. So that made me very curious. And then I realized it's like it's so much more than that, but that really got me into Avatar, I think.
Funny thing you mentioned Sokka, because I think an underappreciated arc is Sokka's arc he makes through the series, because it actually starts pretty early in the first season that he basically accumulates all kinds of fighting styles from different nations, from different tribes and people.
Yeah.
And he can basically combine them and make his own combat style. And I think it starts in episode 5 already, where they meet the Kyoshi warriors, and he gets trained by them, and he learns stuff from them.
Yeah, right. And also, that episode defeated sexism in him, maybe a bit. It was
not defeated, but it's.
it was legit a thing. That was relevant.
Yeah, and it gets better and better over time with him as well. And I mean, it's also very. It sounds stupid, but his sexism is kind of natural because of the circumstances.
Yeah, of course.
I
mean,
he basically gets said, okay, you're the only man in the tribe now. You have to protect everyone. You have to be like you have to be the man, right? And he of course projects stereotypes on that because he doesn't know better.
Yeah.
How should he know, right?
Yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense. And also, there was something. Yes, it was very good. It is very good, and season 2 is even gooder. And season 3 is also very goodish.
Yeah. Season 3 has.
Yeah, man, season 3 is so fucking good.
So many good moments and episodes and arcs. I love it. That's what I'm really excited for. So I'm kind of pushing him through the first season, because I think you can really start to appreciate the first season when you watch the rest.
Yeah, definitely.
You can see like, oh yeah, okay, that's where it all started. That's where that came from. That was introduced here.
Are you also planning to then showing him the Shmamala movies or movie?
I will
if you hate him.
Watch it with him together. I think it's gonna be a disaster, but I never watched it actually. I only saw.
I still remember how.
videos of it.
I still remember how we actually watched it in the cinema. It was so funny. It was just so bad.
But I'm really excited because this year the Netflix live action series will come. And it sounds like it's gonna be
decent.
pretty good. Like I don't want to expect too much, but I have decent hopes of it. Because the casting is well done. The people are really fans of the show, and
You're telling me they didn't cast a bunch of white people in the main roles because because one actress was the daughter of one production guy. Because that's what happened with the live action movie.
Yeah, I mean, for the Wat tribe, they actually casted Inuit people, which is fitting.
I mean, they did do that in the Shmamala movie too, but not for the main actors, which made it even more stupid.
Yeah.
Like all the side actors and background actors were like authentic, and then your two main actors, Sokka and Katara, were just the whitest people you could find. And I was like, okay. Okay.
But yeah, now I recently saw a tweet that showed what FX, like VFX people work on the show now in post-production. And they're the really, really big ones that work on Hollywood movies, on Marvel movies.
Interesting.
They showed all kinds of stuff. Some Avatar people are in there. So yeah, they have
What are you talking about? Sorry, I didn't listen.
The live
the
action
VFX
TV.
people.
Yeah.
For what? What movie?
Avatar.
For the Avatar live action series.
Oh,
So
that's
Netflix
live
one.
action. Oh, okay.
Netflix
It's
planning
coming
it.
this year. And yeah, really high profile people are working on the VFX now.
Wow.
The problem, I mean, there's still the problem that it's live action at all, of course, because, like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, the movie back then, the effects and the martial arts choreography wasn't super bad. Like, they certainly had, like, some good martial artists doing the stuff. The problem was the way the way they filmed it was, first of all, not very good.
Yeah.
But also, like a lot of the moves and the bending didn't really work that well with the live action moves in a way, because it just felt so slow. They did like those super complicated live action cutters.
But that's not something you
air.
have to do when you do a live
Yeah,
action thing.
yeah. You might actually, it might not be a problem with live action at
felt
all.
like-
It might work.
From what I've seen from the movie, the movements and the bending, like the VFX, were very disconnected.
Yeah. The thing was,
And I think if you do them, if you plan them well and do them well together, and you can really make it work.
I think that was the problem. Like, of course, the infamous scene is the one with the 5 Earthbender people who did like this big
Yeah.
choreographed dance. Wah, 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 and then one tiny pebble flies on.
Yep.
Like it also flies like it's on a string or something.
Yeah. And, I mean,
Then you watch the show, and there's one Earthbender that breaks down a whole wall single-handedly, and yeah.
and then there was, of course, also the big thing that sadly many Marvel movies still do. Like, they use like computer-generated effects for shit that shouldn't have them. They used like water. Not water. Someone was wet, and instead of like just having them get wet, they used visual effects for that, and it didn't look convincing. And then they were also in some really cold place at the North Pole, and they didn't have breath, like cold breath from it, stuff like that.
Or, I actually have seen. I always watch these VFX breakdowns and VFX people react, and they made an episode about the Pinocchio movie.
The good one or the bad one?
All 3 of them.
I see. So the Disney one, the Del Toro one, and the cheap one.
The Russian one, yes.
Yeah, the Russian one. Okay.
And in the Disney movie, actually, it's so much blue screen that you have those water scenes with the whale on the boat and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not wet at all, and the water is touching him, and he's getting washed on the sand, and he's completely dry, and it looks so weird. It looks so odd. And there's a lot of blue screen things happening, and not very good.
Yeah. I mean, that's sadly a thing that even the super big budget productions really fail at these days with like many Marvel movies, and as has been reported, like last year especially, like Black Widow was so bad in that regard.
Belly and Cheese says Kung Fu films which Avatar draws upon. historically have lots of exaggerated movement and cable work, so that isn't meant to feel convincing, right? I'm not super into it, but I feel like that's a valid stylistic choice for an Avatar film. And actually, I somewhat agree, because if you have watched Shang-Chi, they use cable work, and they also have some fighting that looks like wind bending, with lots of leaves and dust swirling around.
It was
And
one
it
of
looked so cool, and I was like, oh my god, I want Avatar to look like this, please.
Yeah, basically. I mean, Shang-Chi was basically the big exception for like the Marvel movies in recent times, that it actually looked really, really good. For the most part.
Yeah, so I can totally imagine, especially the lighter types like wind bending and water bending could use cable work to make those floaty movements. And earth and fire are more down to the ground, more stable, punchy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big difference was, like, Earth, of course, was very ground-based, and fire was more straightforward. That was the thing. I think that it was more karate and stuff. It was less. It was less swinging.
Fire uses a lot of like very wide stances.
Yeah, true.
Very balanced on the ground and strong striking punches. And water is of course very flowing and changing balance. Back and forth. But,
Yep.
I mean, that's another great thing about Avatar, is that some benders just mix those things together and draw from other elements.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that are actually very interesting along with a lot of other world building and scenario things about Legend of Korra. I mean, there's a lot of criticisms to be had about that series in terms of how the characters were written, how the plot was sometimes not very interesting. But I really
By the way,
like
we do have a
world building.
question which I want
Yes.
to answer.
Yes.
Where's that excess healing going? Some kind of reserve? And that's exactly right. That's something I discussed with Stefan a bit recently. We do have those healing Estus flasks kind of things, right? So when you have low HP, you can just see yourself using those. And this will be impacted by cooking what exactly you get for healing, but it's limited. And when you have those healing flowers, by the way, those graphics are placeholders, but when you hit them, you activate the healing, and the approach is it always first goes to the player, some part of it, but the remaining actually goes to your healing item and actually charges your healing item, refills it. So that means you sort of don't waste the additional healing, so it refills your healing options. That actually doesn't work right now. I just implemented the draft interface. It's actually not refilling the healing options right now, but yeah, that's the plan at least. Idea is like
Really cool.
yeah, the idea was that I want to have healing items like this because it's sometimes necessary to actually especially in the beginning when you don't have healing items and you want to have stretches in the game where you might not be able to refill your Estus flasks, and to make this more doable you have those healing items in between. But they should not just heal the player, but they should also refill your healing items in a way, because that, yeah, I don't know, makes it less annoying when you accidentally collect it when your HP are full, because that's an annoying moment.
That makes a lot of sense. It's also, like, you don't have to min-max the healing so much. You can just safely charge it.
Yeah.
Use it. That's cool. Regarding Avatar, there's a lot more coming in the coming years.
Another show. Another thing.
There's another show coming in 2025 about the next Avatar, an Earthbender, and it actually plays in the current time.
So modern time, you mean?
Because Avatar Korra plays basically in the 1920s, around there, right?
Right.
And since avatars get pretty old, like 100 years old. The next one is in our modern time.
Yeah, I'm curious how that works. I mean, again, the technology changed so much, the world changed so much. How is bending still fitting in there? It's really, really interesting, and it might be even an even bigger step now with modern times. Now that they have the internet and live streaming avatars and avatars using TikTok.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
that will be interesting.
Yeah.
But other shows are coming in, I think, 2020.
Yeah,
Maybe 2023, but 2024 and so on.
adaptations. Adaptations of the comic books, right?
Yes and no. I said shows, but it's actually movies.
Right.
We get a Kiyoshi movie. We get a Zuko movie. We get an adult Gang movie. Is there something else? I think those three are confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, the whole the Zuko and adult Gang movie is basically the comics, I think, right?
Could be.
The comics that are basically played directly after Avatar, or a few years after the season 3.
Yeah, they will at least draw from them, I think.
And then there was right, Kyoshi is obviously a prequel. Yeah. Right.
Kyoshi actually was died at age 200.
Yeah, right. She really had some good diet. But she still died. Despite the diet. But yeah, she was. I mean, I think there was one of the reasons why she got so old was everyone was too afraid to kill her. So that's because a lot of avatars basically died in the line of duty, right? What I remember, at least the one fire avatar did.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah.
I think Aang just
because of the iceberg.
died pretty early.
Yeah, because of the iceberg thing, I think. I mean, technically he actually lived the longest, but because he was like frozen like 200 years, he got a very bad cold, so he died earlier.
The thing. Kyoshi was older.
Even really? I didn't. I thought she was a bit.
Aang was 160 when he died.
Interesting.
He was 100 years in the ice. But yeah, that took a toll on him, exactly.
100 years, that was the thing.
A secret metabolism bender.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to learn of new kinds of bending.
I mean, we did get magma bending in Korra.
That's also a cool thing. We technically had it in Avatar already. Avatar, what's he called? Ryuko?
You mean the first? Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Did some lava bending, but it looked like fire bending because we didn't know back then.
I mean, I always had like a bit of a headcanon that it's a thing that you might get when the family is when your family is mixed. Which of course would be different for the Avatar, but it wouldn't matter there anyway because you have all 4 elements anyway, so would make sense that he knows that. But the thing is, like, Bolin was a magma bender, like one of the 2 that we knew, and he basically was from a mixed family because his parents were fire.
Yeah, right. His brother is a firebender. He's a firebender.
Yeah. And I could see that the one criminal that knew it beforehand could have also potentially be from mixed heritage. That's the thing. Yeah, but right.
Oh man, I love Avatar. It's so much fun.
It's a lot of fun. And hopefully I mean, one thing about Korra, which hampered the writing a lot, I think, was also that they had a lot of insecurities about how many seasons they will get, and then Nickelodeon was very antsy about the
That's
viewership, stuff like that, and so it was harder to properly plan out the story and write it as well as it could have been. But yeah, as I said, like the world building was still really, really good. And the fight scenes at some points were like amazing. Like it had some of the best animated fight scenes I've ever seen, I think.
I was especially hyped about the first season of Korra. Until the end, it kind of fell flat.
Yeah,
And,
the end fell flat because they didn't know if they would get another season. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the stupid thing.
that was really, really, really sad.
Sedge.
Yeah,
So
sad. That's another one, like for gore, sad.
Oh my god. I don't get the internet anymore, you guys. You just make typos and it's a meme now. That's so lazy. At my times, memes were creative.
In your times, I made typos, and then people made fun of them because then I had blockade, and people didn't suddenly start say blockade all the time.
Yeah, my typos didn't become memes. That's unfair. I made a lot of typos when I was young. I was a typo master.
Put a lot of work in them, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, then again, blockade became kind of a small scope meme among our small cycle.
Yeah.
That might not count. I'm not sure. Sounds like that. Eat hot chili and lime meme. Can that explosive cocoons knock out Juno to the ground if she's too close
Yes.
to the explosion?
Yes, I can. We just
Yes.
need to get close to the entity.
Nice. By the way, now we didn't really talk about anime. Felix, you told us that you watched a certain anime that's called Boku the Rock.
I did not.
You actually did.
I just watched a little bit of one episode, but not much.
Yeah, but I mean the big joke was that you said Boku the Rock, and it's of course
Oh god, yeah.
it's of course Bocchi no Hero Academia. So
Yeah, that's correct, right.
yeah,
Oh my
right.
God.
You only watched half an episode, and I think Flora watched more of it, right?
Yeah, I watched like 2.5.
Okay. And did you like it?
Yeah, it was entertaining. It was fun.
It's really good. I watched the entire anime of it, and it's really good. I'm really
It
like.
was a bit squeaky, I would say.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes it is. It's still cute girls doing things, but they do actually interesting things, and the cute girls are good characters. That's very good. That's why a lot of people say, "Oh, it's basically K-On, but good," and I would agree. But then again, it's so much more than K-On that I'm like,
Why?
not sure if
Why did I just die?
I don't know.
When I
Did you
got
die?
healing, I don't know what happened, but something's buggy with healing because suddenly, what is my HP right now?
Felix, I know the reason.
Yeah.
Felix, you must die here and now.
Okay,
Games-
that must be
the
the
game
reason.
said that, and that's why.
Okay, what the
Yeah.
fuck is happening though? I mean, HP in the status HUD. Yeah, that looks good. Just give me something where I can see the HP.
Yeah, so Bocchi the Rock is really good, and I think we've never mentioned it on stream since it happened, but we finished the first season of Chainsaw Man.
Oh yeah, we did.
And
It was-
Felix, is it good?
Yes,
it
it's
good?
good. It's good.
So you have to admit that it's good. Yes.
Yes, I admit it. It's good.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Yuno's HP are currently at minus 250.
That sounds very dead. I
Yeah.
think the game needs an extra animation for how dead that is with blood and guts.
Yeah, we need to have to make freeze to that animation, I think.
Yeah. Right.
Just Yuno evaporates into a dust of blood.
It's the fatality animation basically. Just for that. But yeah, I was very happy that they teased the best character at the very end of Chainsaw Man Season 1.
Okay, that's really weird. Something is broken here.
It's the Lux and I don't feel so good.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. By the way, people ask what happens if I stand and this happens. Yeah. It only happens for the big ones though. If you eat small ones, fine. But the big ones, those are dangerous. Yeah, there you go. Luckily we got free healing. Yay! Yay! Again! Why do the plants hate me so much? I keep dying. Why? Okay, I want to debug this now.
You must die.
Here and now.
Yeah, no, that's like just how it be.
I think it must be an issue with the heal method. Okay, so what happens here actually?
We also finished the first season Spy Family.
Oh.
Spy Family. Also watched.
Okay. Players getting a healing factor of -1. That doesn't sound correct.
That's bad.
Why do you have -1 healing? Jeez.
That sounds very unhealthy.
Yeah, that's not good. Please. Okay, I think something about how I calculate things.
You have an iron deficiency, Felix. Now, yeah, I will give you some. I will give you some iron supplements.
Yeah, I think I know why that is. That's because I refilled the flask too much, and then the flasks to refill are -1, and so that probably will not happen if we have things properly implemented. But I will just limit this properly between 0 and something, so that should fix things. Okay.
You should fix things.
Yeah, I did that.
That's good.
Yeah, I know. Okay. The healing drops killed me. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what happened. I just overfilled the flask, and then those healing orbs decided to kill me instead. It's like, you collected too much. Now you must die. This is an interesting mechanic, I think.
It's a great mechanic for a new game plus option.
Yeah.
A new anime dropped, by the way.
Yes.
And that's
anime
the
is still
Japanese
being
Tales
made.
of the Macabre, the Junji Ito story.
Right. Is it good this time? Because I heard the last few Junji Ito adaptations weren't all that great.
I only watched the first episode. It was decent. Also, it was well animated, but just the story in itself was a bit lackluster, I would say.
Okay, yeah, I mean, Junji Ito things. I mean, I was never a big fan of manga horror, and his horror is not especially, but too. Because, I mean, or rather, I respect it, and I think it's very good, but it mostly gets carried by the strange visuals and stuff like that. I don't think the story itself is that interesting.
I think some stories are
Maybe some.
pretty
I can't
but
really
yeah,
say.
the art style is definitely the carry.
It's a carry. And it's definitely better to be a carry than a Karen.
True.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of new anime started because it's new anime season. And Felix, very important, Vinland Saga Season 2, aka Farmland Saga. Bring out the hose, Felix. Bring out the hose. It's time to take the hose and use the hose.
Final farming.
Time.
Yeah.
Farming time.
Another anime dropped.
Yes.
I haven't watched anything of it yet, but I wanna. and that's Gudetama.
It's
An
what?
excellent adventure. That's the depressed egg from the what's the planet called?
Yeah. Oh, that got an anime. Interesting.
But it's 3D, I think.
Okay. Interesting. Another one that dropped. I mean, I'm not watching a lot. Yeah, first of all, very important, Felix. We need to watch it together. Second season of Nagatoro has come out. And what can I say? It's Nagatoro. It's good. It's very good. Everyone
Okay,
should
Hanno.
watch it.
Okay, Hanno.
Yeah. No, I mean, actually, it is very, very good.
Okay, Hanno.
I think the content, the story content that happens in season 2 is actually better. Oh, that's a fucking nostalgia.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, right there. Man, that's such a good game. I played it to death when I was a child. It's the Game Boy Zelda.
Maybe I want to play the Switch version at some point.
Oh yeah, true. But I think a lot of the big appeal that it had back then to me was, man, when you were a kid like that and you didn't have the internet, you are like, man, there might be so many secrets I haven't found, and then you just explore everything so thoroughly. Anyway,
Like a dumb idiot that you were back then.
yeah, right. And then you by accident steal something from the shop and get killed, and then you are like very scared. You get traumatized by that. Well, that's something. Anyway, Nagatoro season 2. The stuff it will cover, very good. Even better than season 1, I think, because cast and stuff established already, so they can do a lot of really, really wholesome stuff and things. However, I have to say, but so this might not be very surprising, the production quality is a bit less good in season 2 compared to season 1, but it's still okay. I mean, that's something that happens a lot with anime. They get a second season, and then second season is a bit cheaper because they don't need to get new viewers apart as the first one, things like that. But it's still okay. It still carries the series well enough. Another series that's very interesting. It is super good. It's called. Give me a second. How is it called again? Right. Giant Breasts of Ours. Oh wait, sorry.
What?
No, sorry. I misspoke. It's called Giant Beasts of Ours. But it's very.
Not better.
No, it's called. Yeah, as you might imagine, it's. I'm just gonna write it out real quick. It's very easy to misread the title, and it's a super interesting series. Oh no, sorry, I misspoke. It's actually a very mediocre fantasy series and not all that great. However, there's one amazing aspect to it, and that is animal and mostly cat puns. I just posted some in Discord. No, wait, or rather, I attempted to post them. No, I posted them. Come on. Look at all those great cat puns, like literally, and a large downpour of rain. You will just have to pass and wait. Everything's going to be okay. Formidable skills. Thanks very much for the kind
You
intro.
gotta be kidding.
Yeah, okay, that's a very lame one. Against the feline. So
Such a remarkable hunter.
big kudos to the sub team. They did a lot of good work. Yeah, but anyway, I dropped it after episode 1. It was very mediocre. You feel that it tries to be like a very great and fun fantasy adventure series. Has some wannabe Ghibli vibes and stuff like that, Tales vibes, but it's just not very good, so I kind of dropped it. However, there is a series that's an isekai.
Oh no.
Please don't run away. It's an isekai, and it's about a guy who got hit by a truck, And
No way.
he got reborn. And then he is on an adventure with a party. And in that party is a cute girl that likes him.
And wants to kill him.
Actually, no. Why?
Okay. I know. Because I thought you liked it for some reason, so I assumed.
Now, Felix, I'm not that simple-minded.
Sure.
Anyway, but I made this sound very boring, and it is not. This is a very good series. It is called Handyman Saito in Another World. So it's a handyman. That means he's a man who has a lot of handies. He has so many mobile phones, and that's why he. No, it's actually a really good series. I've read the manga a bit before. It's actually a blue collar worker, like a handyman. Like he's like he does like he opens locks for people. He is good at crafting stuff, things like that. And he got a lot of disrespect in the old world, but in a relatable sense. Like it's not like he has like a super sad backstory and got bullied all the time, like many of those revenge isekai nonsense stories. Just like, yeah, he was a blue collar worker who didn't get the respect that he deserved by his boss, by customers, things like that. And then he got reborn in the next world, and here's the big twist. He didn't get reborn with a super amazing overpowered cheat skill. He just got reborn as the guy he is. He got some tools with him from his other world, and now he just is with this adventuring party and is like a really good guy at lockpicking and and crafting stuff. And that's his thing. He's not super overpowered or anything. He's just
Nice.
And it's a really good series, actually. It's like it's really hard to explain why it's so good. It's just
It's hard to explain.
yeah, it's hard to explain. It's Ninja Infocast, basically.
Yeah. Oh my
It's
god. Why do we keep doing this?
it's very it's pretty down to earth. The character chemistry works very well. Like the party consists of him, a female knight who's really badass and cute, wears practical armor actually.
Yeah. Good night,
And-
Yui.
Good night, Yui.
Night.
Sleep well and try to be less sus. Okay. She wears practical armor and she's not a tsundere, Felix. And she's not she's a bit shy about having some affection for the main character, but it's not like this ridiculous kind of typical anime waifu nonsense. It's really good. I can recommend it with somewhat of an asterisk. Or asterisk.
Is there a way for me to add a sound to the soundboard?
Yeah, but not midstream.
Not midstream usually, but it's in. Do you have access to the spherical Dropbox?
Dropbox. Oh my god.
Yeah,
so
it's still Dropbox. I'm sorry.
Hey,
The Dropbox. It's funny.
It's still Dropbox. I'm sorry. It never moved.
Yes.
And that was actually a couple of things I wanted to play, like for all six time. Like what was again the holy trinity of weird things that Intero did?
You mean don't play this? Was it don't play this? Do we still have that one? I think. I mean, of course we have this one.
Personally, I prefer
Unity.
But
Don't hold back. No.
Don't hold back!
Okay,
No,
I think
we
I have to go by date, like the old ones. The old ones. Anim.
Neon.
Wow, why are these things so freaking old? 2012. We did.
adventure mode.
I prefer adventure mode.
Okay, I think the old ones we can ignore. We did start streaming in 2015. So why? Okay, beautiful. There was one. Okay, here we got one of the classics.
Yeah. Was this the one that never ends? Because it's so fucking long.
I'm actually, yes, I am in the soundboard. I have access to the soundboard. Okay, nice.
Okay, then you can put stuff there. I just need to restart the bot, but I can do that.
Okay, give me a second.
I think you should stop laughing.
Did you play in Terra Joy's original?
No, I can play that too. But there was like another one.
No.
Oh no, he's dying.